Oh, Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, how are you guys? What's going on? Happy Memorial Day. You know, it seems weird to say Happy Memorial Day because when you think about memorials, it's not like we're out there celebrating, hooting and hollering, having a great time, holding sparklers and drinking beer.
No, but you're doing exactly what the people who fought for freedom
100%.
want.
100%. So how is everybody? We were number one yesterday on the leader.
Were we?
We were.
I didn't see
We
that.
crushed it. I've got some really big hair going on today. Sorry. Number one, and I think we kind of killed it on the podcast. So we might have some news for you guys tomorrow, which could be very exciting. It's very exciting for me. How are you, Brock? How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was good.
You built a fence?
We built a fence, new fences up with a lock that I can get into my backyard now through my driveway, which is kind of nice.
I love it.
Yeah. Came together really nice.
Your brother and his wife came up, Tom and Jolene.
Yeah, Tom helped me put the fence up, which it seems simple, but there's a lot of cutting and a lot of tinkering to get it leveled, because my yard is not level. So, but it took Saturday, danced around the rain, and then Sunday.
Yeah, it was a full thing. I wish that you had taken a picture that wasn't from the view inside your car, because that cracked windshield, it makes it really distorted. Like I couldn't. Right. I was like, "What's that?"
Yeah, that's another thing I got. I got a cracked windshield.
Aw, what happened?
Well, when you're putting things in your car that stick out the back, you try to get them as far up, and then
sometimes you just got to give it that extra
little nudge, and sometimes that nudge hits the windshield, and
oh. So does this mean that we can no longer talk about me eating all of Tom and Jolene's chicken wings?
No, you want to harp on Jolene busting up my windshield.
See, here's what Brock and his brother like to do. They like to ride you like a flippin' rented mule. Anything that you do, and the four of us had gone out to grab a beer or 5, and Tom got some chicken wings, and Brock was like,
No, no, he didn't.
We don't need the whole story. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
we're leaving the part that you scarfed them all down.
No, I was about to say that you were like, who's going to eat all this food? And he's like, somebody will. And I was like, and I sucked down everything, and they make fun of it.
And you ate half a Jolene sandwich?
I did, and I ate all of it. Yes, I ate everything to the point where they were like, so.
I was more worried about your fingers. I mean, like.
So I've heard about this for a year, as often as they can drop it on me.
And let me tell you,
wants to eat? Well, not Wendy. Keep it away from Wendy.
I don't know if either one of them are listening, but let me tell you, the first thing she said to me this morning was, does that mean we can ride Jolene about your broken windshield?
Yes, and get off of me eating the chicken wings. Anyway, that's how we roll here.
Here's the way I look at it. Why can't we do both?
I want to thank Paul and Val from Stinkies for hosting the most wonderful grad party for Bob and Chris, some of their friends, and the extended family on Joe's side. So great. If you haven't been to Stinkies in Lawrenceville, look, here's what I'm going to say. I should probably ask Paul before I say it. What a wonderful place. Yes. What a special place. And it happens to be right across the street from what my monologue is about today, Allegheny Cemetery. So very special. They went the extra mile. What a wonderful weekend, blessed weekend. And I couldn't imagine being anywhere else than with you on this day. I have no idea how many views we're going to get, how many people are going to tune in. I don't care, because you're here, and that's why we are. So thank you. And if you served in the military in this great country from a very grateful Wendy Bell radio show, thank you very, very, very much.
Thanks for doing it so we didn't have to.
Well,
Oops. I mean, I couldn't, but even so, it's not a.
we appreciate you,
Yeah.
and we celebrate you today. And those, obviously, who did not come home. So let's roll. Let's have a good show. We got lots to talk about, okay? Hit that rumble button. Let's rock and roll, baby.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Oh, hello and happy Memorial Day, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. What a wonderful time to get up and do a show with you today on this holiday here at the Wendy Bell radio program. It is our great joy to come in as pretty much every other radio show on planet Earth is off today because we love this country. We fight for this country. We tell you the truth about what's going on in this country. And it is meaningful to be here on this Memorial Day. WendyBellRadio.com. If you haven't gotten our app on your phone, please do. Follow along the live video stream. Join in the chat. Be part of our family. We enjoy talking to you in the commercial breaks. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, 10 years ago, I lost a job that put me on a brand new path. I wouldn't have known it at the time where it was going to go, how many doors would close or open up just a crack that I would have to budge my way through, right? But I'd been out of work for maybe a year and was raising our 5 sons, full-time mom, had never done full-time parenting ever, always juggled a job until I didn't have a job. And I didn't realize how necessary it was for me in that time of my life to be a full-time, pay attention mom. About a year in, I was getting very restless. I felt like I didn't have much of a purpose, even though my greatest purpose was to watch my sons grow and to help them in any way I could. But there was something creative that was missing, and it was my job. So I got up one day, and it was about a week before Memorial Day, 2016, I think. And I decided to go with my phone to the Allegheny Cemetery, which is this beautiful 300-acre complex, rolling hillsides, the most magnificent mature trees of all kinds. There are deer, there are coyotes, foxes, and 128,000 graves at this Allegheny Cemetery. Among them, 15,000 veterans. And I'd heard somewhere that there was this big flag planting process going on in the lead up to Memorial Day. And there was a flyer that was out. Show up at the gates of the Allegheny Cemetery. Join us as we endeavor to literally walk every step of the 300 acres and uncover each and every single one of those 15,000 veterans' graves to plant a flag next to. Now, this isn't just any process, because while there are maps of who is buried where, not all of it works out that way. Sometimes the medallions, they have military medallions that designate the veterans' graves. But after so many decades, this is a cemetery that's one of the oldest in Pennsylvania. It was built in 1844, almost 200 years ago, right? And a lot of these medallions have been buried by brush and overgrowth and what have you. And so it literally is a one person per grave at a time endeavor to get down on your hands and knees and to figure out, is this the individual? And I was out there for about 5 or 6 hours, literally, walking around various people. One was a World War II veteran who was out there doing this. Another guy was an Eagle Scout. Other people brought their families as a tradition to find all these markers to make sure not a single veteran's grave was missed in this flag planting process. After a long day shooting all of this video, I imagined I was going to go back to this big, beautiful iMac that I bought, this big desktop beauty monster of a computer, and I'm going to download all of this video. I'm going to get it in my computer, and all of a sudden, I'm going to learn how to edit my own stories, because I had been on television for so many years. I'd watch the photographers do it, the editors do it, and I was like, well, I guess it's time for me to do it myself. If I told you it took me 24 hours to edit that video, that's an understatement. And I remember sitting at this computer monitor, the boys walking in and out with tears streaming down my face. I'd come to that place where I realized, I don't know if I can do this alone. Do I have what it takes? And of all stories to try to tell, first out of the gate, it's about Memorial Day, and it's about honoring those who gave us their everything. And it would have been so much easier for me just to have been like, well, so I just gave 5 hours at the cemetery and I recorded all of this stuff. And some of it was very creative, beautiful shots. I was very proud. I was so tapped out, I was done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And my husband was walking out the door. Joe was walking out the door to go to work. And I just had my head buried in my hands. And I was crying. What am I doing? I said. What am I doing? I can't do this by myself. The computer keeps crashing. It doesn't save it. And then the files go away. And I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? And he put his hand on my shoulder. And he said, you are doing what you were intended to do. Now go do it. And he kissed me and he walked out the door. No pressure, right? But of all things, of all stories to not botch, I had to choose one that involved music and involved natural sound of people walking through the grass. Oh, I found one, brushing off the graves. You can see it in your mind's eye. And by golly, I worked my tail off. And that story didn't air until well past Memorial Day. That's how long it took me. But every single time the calendar turns and I think about that moment at that computer and how much the story meant to me, how much I wanted to reveal and share with the people who followed me at the time only on Facebook, I wasn't going to quit. It was this story on this particular holiday that we all celebrate today that forced me to determine which path I was going to take. Was I going to throw up my hands and say, you know what, it was a good ride? I really did enjoy sharing stories with people, but it's just too much. It's just too hard. I just can't take it. No. I had to determine where I was going, what I was going to do, how it was going to be. And you know what happened? The next time I shot and edited a story, it only took me 18 hours. And then 12, and then 8, until finally I could do it in an afternoon pretty quickly. Every single time I drive by that beautiful cemetery, I think about hunkering down in the grass so I could catch the little boy's feet walking by. I think about holding the phone up on one of those extender things to see if I could get a wider panoramic view. Of all stories, I was not going to quit on. It was going to be about American patriotism, love of country, and honoring those who sacrificed everything so that I had the privilege of sitting there crying at my desk, wondering what the hell I was doing. Those young men who many, many, many years ago went off and fought wars maybe they didn't understand. I can't imagine how they felt because they were children. They were boys. And they teach us a lesson today about service and about honesty and about love of country. It was the perfect first story for me to cut my teeth on. It's the one I will never forget. Every single year, the calendar turns to Memorial Day. To all of you who lost someone you love because of their service, thank you. Thank you so very much. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I've got 2 videos for you. Very cool. And we're going to get into Iran. We're going to talk about Spencer Pratt. We're going to talk about the race for California governor. We're going to talk about UFOs. We got it all. But when we come back, you know, every soldier has a list. And today we must remember to never forget saying their names. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I'm surprised it only took you 24 hours. No,
I had to learn about all of the various levels, and I had to splice audio, and then I'd hit a button, and then all that would disappear, and I was like, and it happened multiple times, and twice in the 24 hours. It was literally at the end, and then it went.
Do you remember the?
And it was gone, and I was like, what are you trying to tell me? Am I not supposed to be doing this? And literally it was Joe was like, so get it done. And I'm like, okay. What does that mean? Right? Oh.
Do you remember the things we did? I'll try that I would edit and put together.
Yes. It took hours, I'm sure.
I had to learn. I bought and learned a new program for that.
Oh my God.
And the first time it took me, who I already knew how to generally edit through the system, they would take me 8 to 10 hours a piece. So at 24 hours, you're ahead of the game.
It was every bit of that. And I think it was after that Joe was like, you know what you need? You need a dog. And I was like, what? He's like, you need a reason to get up and out. Like you need a purpose beyond driving yourself crazy. Let me tell you about Tulip Blooms. The deal is still going. Today is the end of their Memorial Day sale. Makes sense because today's Memorial Day. And this is what you're going to get through the end of today. You will buy one, get one 50% off. The Rainfall lotions, which are, I have like not a whole lot left, which are fantastic this time of year. The healing. It goes on like aloe vera. I'm just going to say that. It doesn't go on like lotion that's kind of gummy and thick. You put it on and it absorbs into your skin and you don't feel it. It's not like, ooh, it's magnificent. Buy one 50% off the Rainfall line or 50% off the Castor blend oils. These are the essential oils that are so phenomenal. I put 2 pumps in my hand, rub it like this, and I literally rub it on my belly and my back because this is supposed to be really great for your organs. You're like, what? How does that happen? It gets into permeates your dermis, your epidermis, and it's supposed to have like great qualities for your insides. And I'm like, okay. And I love it. Love it. 50% off. Buy one, get one, 50%. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. This is the time to give it a go. This is the end of the sale. And I don't know when they're going to do another one, but this is a great time to give it a whirl. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I love them. They're fantastic. I think you're going to love them too. Castor blend. It is all that. If I didn't give one to you, Brock, good. Because for every single day. Have you ever been to see the Vietnam Veterans War Memorial? It is one of the most mesmerizing things to visit in person. And if you haven't made a trip to the nation's capital, at least the president's cleaned the place up so you're not going to get stabbed on the street when you go anymore. It is magnificent, this wall. I didn't realize that back in 1981, I think it was a college student who submitted the design for the wall for the Vietnam War Memorial. It is in order of casualty, which is interesting. It's not alphabetical. It's not done that way. It's based on when each man and woman died in that battle. Well, Friday, there was a beautiful tradition, several years in the making. It is the scrubbing of the wall that was done in conjunction with Pete Hegseth, also Doug Collins, Secretary of the VA. This is a meaningful story, and I want to play this for you before another video, which is even better. Listen.
It may feel like a small, subtle thing, but it's not for our family. I know it's not for all of you. It feels like the right thing to do. It feels like the right way to kick off a weekend like this.
And for the ones on this wall, they entered in whether they wanted to or not. Some were told, some volunteered. They ended up on a wall. They ended up with a name. And the memorials around here remind us that the freedoms that we have to come wash this wall today were paid with their blood. They were paid with those who went before. And that's something we should never forget. So our simple act of washing a wall today is our welcome. It's our telling them we still remember. Because what you'll notice at the bottom of that wall as you look right now is there's people who still remember. They come by and they say dad, they say mom, they say brother, they say sister. So for us today, it's just simply an act of saying, welcome home. Thank you for what you've done. And a reminder to those in the future that if you don't step up as well, this freedom we have is not there. That is one thing that Pete and I agree completely on. The strongest country in the world is this country in the world. The greatest country in this world, by God's blessing, is this place right here. Why? Because we honor the fact that he gave it to us, and also the honor the fact that there are men and women who are willing to put that right hand up and say, I'm willing to go. But for them, their thank you is here. But for their families, they're not forgotten. And on this Memorial Day, no matter what we do, this is the basis for what we have. So let's take our mop, our bucket. As we were shown earlier, the simple act of service is the greatest love we can give. And thank y'all for being here.
And thank you all for being here. Doing something to volunteer some time to show your children what matters. It's so significant. This story and what Doug Collins says there about the names, about never forgetting the names, never stopping to say their names. The left wants us to say their names, but those aren't the people whose names we say today. It is the fallen. And when you think about Vietnam, 58,000. That's significant. This story, every soldier has a list. And it is our job today to make sure the names on those lists are always and often spoken.
When you look across the rolling hills and quiet rows of Arlington, you don't just see white marble. If you've been to war, you see faces. I spent my career operating in the blast radius alongside some of the most lethal and dedicated warriors on Earth. We fought in the dirt and the dust. We bled together. We survived together. But the brutal truth of war is that not all of us come home. Every one of us who has worn the uniform in combat carries a list. You don't write it down. You don't have to. It's burned into your soul. It's the name of the teammates you pulled from the wreckage, the friends you shared the last meal with, the brothers and sisters who literally gave everything they had to the mission, to the cause, and to each one of us. The freedoms we enjoy today were purchased by those who never saw tomorrow. Memorial Day is not just a holiday. For this nation, it is a day of remembrance and gratitude. For those of us who have worn the uniform, it is a day of reckoning. It's a day we hear those names again in the solitude of our own minds and ask ourselves whether we are living a life worthy of the blood they shed. To the Gold Star families who live with an empty chair at the table every single day, the nation owes you a debt we can never repay, and your sacrifice serves as our North Star. There's a saying, a warrior dies twice. The first time is when their heart stops beating. The second is when their name is no longer spoken. We must never allow the names of our nation's warriors to fade. We must carry their memories and hold the line. We must speak their names out loud or in the quiet of our hearts. We must never forget.
I think the most beautiful line there is our mission is to live a life worthy of the blood they shed. And how true that is. On this Memorial Day, we are going to come back after the short break, and we're going to talk about what we know now about what's going on with this deal with Iran, what the president is offered as an olive branch to the regime, and whether or not this thing's actually going to get done. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. That was just a great video. You know, love that. All right. Wendy loves gold. I love gold. I do. And we're going to be doing something here with Wendy Loves Gold Texas Bullion Exchange in probably this next several weeks. I've been working with them on an offer that I think you guys will enjoy, an added incentive if you have the desire to learn more, learn anything about investing in gold and in silver. And just thinking about that makes you feel like, who has the money to do that? Well, you can get a gold-backed IRA. And if you already have an IRA, this is not complicated to get precious metals into it. And in fact, my friends at wendylovesgold.com, Texas Bullion Exchange, they literally wait for you to call so that they can help you, so they can take your hand and say, what can I do to make your retirement savings easier for you? How can I interest you in this really phenomenal opportunity to own a piece of something special, right? 855-927-5557. They're phenomenal people. I will be honest with you. I don't know if they're working today, but if you want to call them tomorrow, 855-927-5557, wendylovesgold.com. Ask them about their 6% in free silver that they give to Wendy Bell Radio listeners who get a principal protection program backed I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this to you. They have a deal where they say, look, if you buy gold and silver from us, the promise is you will never sell it to us. If you need to, sell it back to us from less than what you paid. So you never lose money. They call that their PPP, Principal Protection Program, basically. And if you sign up for one of those, you got to ask about the 6% in free silver that they're going to give you. 855-927-5557. WendyLovesGold.com. I'll figure it out. I had a hard time with that. I'm trying to find that word. What's going on out there? How is everybody? Is anybody else live today? I don't know. What do you think, Brock? We've got almost, 2,700, almost 2,700 people live. We have
the
one.
Arlington thing is live right now. So.
Okay.
But yeah, there's other people that are live.
Oh,
we're number 2 editors picked.
Oh, thank you, Rumble. All right. I'm so glad you guys are here. We already have 1,000 Rumbles. Thank you. That's so helpful. What are you guys doing today? Our weather has been... So I think most of the eastern section of America has just been like poopy. Just yucky, kind of cool. And then it got humid, and then that's triggered the storms.
It was so... It rained, and then it got like scorching humid.
My head is... I sweat. I mean, this mop, obviously, you could tell. I had just sweat dripping into my eyes as I was doing the yard stuff yesterday. So I can't imagine what you were like.
Oh, it was dripping off.
I mean, like digging holes for posts. How are you doing? Sounds sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to.
Yeah.
But you're going to have such a great patio now. I'm super excited for you. All right.
Did I send you any pictures?
No, you didn't. But okay. Whatever.
Well, I didn't really was busy. I didn't take many.
I'm sure. We got great stuff going on with Spencer Pratt. I think this is going to be a very interesting. One of two things is going to happen with that mayor's race in LA, but you had to love that. Think about thinking outside of the box. Did you see the stencils that he had made or somebody made?
Yeah.
And it was like Spencer Pratt for LA mayor. And it's like, imagine if the streets were always this. So they literally put it on the ground with a power washer and power wash inside the stencil, remove it. And there it says Spencer Pratt for LA mayor. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant marketing idea. When I'm mayor, our streets are going to be clean. They're not going to be filthy anymore. We're going to clean up the homeless. We're going to get the drug-addled into rehab. We're going to fix the problem. We're going to make it better. Period. And he's gaining. He's super duper gaining. It's fantastic. So I'm happy for him. Oh, you did send me a picture. Let's see.
I just did. It's just
all right.
I have to replant the roses today.
Oh my goodness, does that look fantastic? That is really nice.
Yeah, I have to replant them today.
Good for you. Really pretty. Really, really pretty. All right. Let's see what's going on. Who's got plans today that are unusual? Is anybody doing something unusual on this Memorial Day? Give me a comment. Not in the Rumble chat side, but give me a comment. I'd love to see what you guys are up to. If you have a tradition with your family. Oh, you know what? Grand meows. I just jumped on in time for the memorial video. I'm bawling my eyes out. I know. Brock sent that to me this morning and he's like, I like this. And I'm like, no, I love this. I love
Amanda
this.
posted it in the chat, the link. It was a late ad, so it's not on the rundown.
Yes.
It's posted.
Well, beautiful weather in Minneapolis. I'm glad to hear it. Camping in the Laurel Mountains. Kaylee Lee.
I like the camp.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. Manual labor. I don't know. What is it about Memorial Day where I always feel like I have to go out and do something? Dig or... Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Lots to talk about today. This president over the holiday weekend, I'm not so sure he got a whole lot of shut-eye, a whole lot of downtime. Not sure he was doing anything that was all of that, I don't know, recreational. This guy's been on the phone, on the horn, dealing with Iran, trying to figure out a peace deal, trying to get a country that's been run essentially by terrorists to the table to be like, okay, we're done. This president's like, we're done with people dying. We're done with that. We're done with wars. And I'm going to give you an olive branch, Iran. This is very interesting. The olive branch being, if we sign a peace agreement and you agree, Iran, to getting rid of all of your uranium dust, we will ease up on some sanctions, which will allow you, arguably, to sell some oil and make some money. But you got to stop being such a malignant force in the Strait of Hormuz. You got to get out of the way. You got to get all the mines out of the way. You're not going to charge anybody any kind of passage. You're going to back up. You're going to let that transit happen. And we want you to be a part of the Abraham Accords. This is one of those things that I think is really pretty fascinating. I want to read you this part first. The White House vowed no dust, no dollars for Iran just hours ago, asserting that unless the Islamic Republic gives up its enriched uranium, it will get no sanctions relief, as President Trump tapped the brakes on forecasting a peace deal that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He revealed Saturday the U.S. and Iran were close to a memorandum of understanding that would get oil flowing again while allowing 30 days for these nuclear negotiations to take place. But to say to Iran, we want you, we don't just want you to agree and sign some piece of paper that we kind of don't really believe you would honor anyway, because you've not been even remotely credible or honorable about anything ever. But we want to bring you in and we want to give you skin in the game. We want you to be a part of these Abraham Accords. We want you to be a part of this peace pact with these other countries, UAE, Syria, Turkey, all of these countries, Qatar, all of these. We want you to sit down and we want you to have a voice at the table that has to do with maintaining peace in this region. That is giant. This is giant from this president. In fact, there's a pride problem at play, I think, what's going on. And the president is trying to negotiate this off-ramp for Iran so that the leaders don't look weak to their own people. There is an awful lot of pride in negotiating any kind of a deal. And when ostensibly you've been pummeled into the middle of next week, you've lost your Navy, you've lost the majority of your missiles and your drones, and you are limping along needing a lifeline, this president is keenly aware of the fact that Iran needs a victory in some sort for its people, meaning the people to look at the leaders, the regime, and not think that they're a bunch of weaklings. This is what the president is trying to work out. In the Oval Office, he said something very interesting, and he's dropped some comments about the truth of what Obama did when he was president, loading up a plane and sending $1 billion of our money to Iran while he was president to bribe Iran, basically, don't attack us, leave us alone, and we'll bribe you and give you basically blood money. That was the deal. That was Barack Obama's grand deal. And then what do you think happened to that billion? What do you think happened to that? Oh, I'm going to go with it. Probably bought quite a bit of uranium, right? Probably provided quite a bit of weapons for all of the proxy armies around the world that Iran funded and fueled. This is President Trump in the Oval dropping the details on a reporter who's asking basically about these negotiations. And he basically just drops his gloves and he's like, look, this should have been handled so long ago, it's not even funny. But because nobody had the huevos to get it done, nobody could get it done, nobody did get it done, I'm here and I'm the fixer. Listen.
Other presidents should have done this. 47 years they've been toying with these stupid people. In many cases, stupid people. This should have been done by Obama. He went the other way. He was giving them cash. He sent plane loads, a Boeing 757, took the seats out and put green cash, 1.7 billion in the plane. Every bank in Virginia, D.C., and Maryland was stripped of their cash. They took out all the cash from the banks. They put it into a plane, a Boeing 757 packed with cash, and they flew it to Iran, and they let these guys just, I don't know what the hell they did with it, but they took it and then gave them billions and billions of dollars and bribed them basically to be friends. And after giving them tens of billions of dollars, they screwed Obama, okay? That's not the way we play. No, we do it the old-fashioned way. And they should wave. They're very proud. Maybe you won't see a white flag, but essentially that's already what they are.
President Trump telling leaders of several Arab and other Muslim countries over the weekend in a conference call that if the deal to end the Iran war is finally achieved, then he wants the nations to sign peace agreements with Israel. This is per U.S. officials with direct knowledge of the call. Now, I don't know what would dissuade an Iran from signing some kind of a deal and then not following through. They don't seem to be like even remotely the world's honest brokers. Trey Yingst on Trump standing firm on no Iranian tolls in the Strait. He says, look, this is international. It will be open. The shipping lanes will be open, period. And if that's one of the sticking points, no deal. Here's Trey Yingst.
The reports indicate that the Iranians are trying to toll the Strait. A senior administration official said, we don't think that a toll is an acceptable outcome. And so the Trump administration is being very clear. This is an international waterway. It needs to be open for international shipping. The Iranians can no longer disrupt the international oil or LNG trade within the Persian Gulf, ultimately out through the Strait of Hormuz, or ultimately there's no deal. And that was the sense that we got on this call earlier today, Mike, is that if President Trump doesn't get what he wants in this agreement, there's not going to be a deal. He either wants the deal that has been put forward by U.S. negotiators, including U.S. Special Envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, or ultimately it's not going to be signed by the Trump administration. So a lot of those details to work out in the days ahead, and you're going to hear a lot of back and forth, a lot of propaganda coming from the regime. What's important to look at is what's actually on the paper and then what can actually be implemented. And oftentimes those are two different things.
And it's interesting, too, because the president put out in a truth over the weekend. He's like, look, it's interesting. We don't have a deal. And yet people are already saying that what's in it? You have no idea what's going on unless you're Steve Witkoff, you're Jared Kushner. Yes. Why am I saying his name wrong? Kushner? Did I say that wrong, Brock? Am I losing my mind?
Kushner.
Kushner. Thank you. I just need like a clear. He's like, look, it's so interesting that outlets are coming out poo-pooing what this deal would be, even though nobody knows what the deal that we're working on is. So how are you going again? Seriously, if this president ends this deal with Iran, gets some kind of an agreement, and then has these other countries agree to and sign these Abraham Accords, basically saying, you're now part of this pact with Israel. Y'all are going to stop trying to kill each other, okay? You're going to stop trying to kill each other. You're going to stop all of this nonsense because we want peace. The world wants and deserves peace because, that's what a king and a dictator would do. Isn't that right? Right. So he's talking to the UAE, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Bahrain to discuss this emerging deal with Iran. The president is bringing in Iran's neighbors and saying, look, you guys are the ones next door to these people. You need to be a part of this. This has got to be a community-wide deal that we're doing together. This isn't something that we're inking, that Israel and the United States are inking with Iran. You guys have skin in the game. Join the conversation. Come to the table. Let's figure this out. Iran doesn't want to figure anything out, I would imagine, right? What's in it for them? Well, one would argue their survival, but do you really think the people in charge of the regime care at all about their people? They don't. Of course they don't. I want you to hear this. This is for Ashley Webster. This gentleman is on Fox. He's talking about in Tel Aviv. This is one of their reporters. And he's like, this is where President Trump is like, we're 95% of the way there. The final 5% is probably all about the uranium, but we're that close. Listen.
A senior administration official, though, telling Fox News that Iran has agreed to the framework of a peace deal and that we are 95% there, but also adding that the U.S. will not roll over on any issues and that the instincts of the president is that Iran could take another 5, 6 or 7 days to, in his words, get it right. But he does describe the negotiations, the president, as constructive. Earlier today, he also took to Truth Social and he took aim at the naysayers of a potential deal, saying in part, quote, well, it isn't even fully negotiated yet, but so don't listen to the losers who are critical about something they know nothing about. Unlike those before me who should have solved this problem many years ago, I don't make bad deals.
And this is what the president had to say about the negotiations, where he's like, look, the Abraham Accords are a mandatory requirement for any Iran deal in this Truth Social. He's like, during my discussions on Saturday, I stated that after all of the work done by the United States to try to pull this very complex puzzle together, it should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign into the Abraham Accords. Those countries discussed are Saudi Arabia, the UAE, already a member, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain, already a member, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to basically, most should be ready, willing, and able to make this settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it would be otherwise. But if Iran signs its agreement with me as President of the United States of America, it would be an honor to have them also be a part of this unparalleled world coalition. Now, as I sit back and I consider what a king would do, what a dictator would do, what a ruler would do, what an authoritarian would do, and all of these crowds on demand on the left that tell you that's what's going on, aren't those people who got those signs and were paid $50 to stand out and pretend that they were protesting aren't they gonna feel stupid? So we'll watch this throughout the course of the day. Meantime, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, the immeasurable power of this president's stamp of approval. The president's boost sends Ken Paxton's numbers soaring, and John Thune, not even John Cornyn, John Thune now scrambling. His writing is on the wall. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. What's interesting is this president never makes it sound punitive. He's not punitive. He says you can't do this, but you can do this. And we're going to open up the door to this for you. Not sign it or else. He's like, all right.
He's forcing to make them all accountable to each other.
Yes, 100%. And then in which part he's out of it, right? Then he can, this is your real estate, right? You guys got to watch each other. That's how this is going to work. That's how this is going to work. Nobody's getting bribed anymore. Nobody's paying you off anymore. We're not paying you to not kill us. Very interesting time. All right. It's so weird to be here. There's nothing going on in the studios. Dark, right? All right, let me tell you about bloodflow7.com. I noticed over the weekend it was very humid. I was doing a lot of bending over, a lot of standing up, getting down, squatting and getting up, clearing out a bunch of garbage in the yard. I filled up a couple yard bags of weeds and other nonsense, right? And I'll tell you what, about a year ago, before I started taking Blood Flow 7, I would probably have had to take a break at somewhere in there, go inside, cool down a little bit, maybe get something cool to drink, to then go back out and finish it. This time, as I have Blood Flow 7 in my system, that nitric oxide opening up the blood vessels so the blood flow is amazing. I was nonstop. Literally, I had to physically pull myself inside, stop working because we had to get ready for the twins' graduation party at Stinky's. And I could have kept going. I could have kept going for hours. I wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago. It's basic, and it's less than $1 a day. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off when you use that, web address, or you just put in Wendy as the promo code, and you'll get 30% off on everything that they sell. This ends up being something like $24 for a month. Now, do you think $24 is worth it for you to give a product that's going to change how you feel, change how strong you are, how far you go, how much you accomplish? You think that's worth it? I do. That's why I'm a subscriber. It comes automatically every 3 months to me. Even though I could get it for free, I'm like, I like that stuff and I want to support that company and I'm going to buy it myself. That's what we do here. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. The stuff is gold. Just going to say it's gold. All right. So I don't know about the oil prices yet. I think they'll see if this thing gets through on the commodities market. I mean, the price per barrel will go down, but you probably have high gas prices through the entirety of June, I think they were saying, because obviously
July even.
probably through 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully see something that comes down before the 250th celebration in July. But we'll see. And then you got to love Steve Hilton calling it out in California. Oh, yes. My kids are telling me about various Memorial Day sales that they want to cash in on. Thanks.
Just so you know, Jolene is not happy with you.
She doesn't have to be upset. It's all good. I know what it's like.
She already said she still scarfed out all my wings and half my sandwich.
She's right. And I would do it again. I would do it, especially if Tom's buying. I'll eat it all. I think we were all marveling at that. I was wearing a white dress and didn't get anything on me.
We were just watching you eat it. Was wow.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program and a happy Memorial Day to all of you. You know, it's interesting. We had Sean Parnell on last year, I believe. He's, of course, the wingman for Secretary Hegseth as the Pentagon spokesman. And Sean is a decorated war hero, though he would never tell you he's a hero. He does definitely fit that moniker. And he was telling us, and it was odd. He's like, you know what? It is a celebration, Memorial Day. You should celebrate. You should go out. You should barbecue. You should hold a sparkler, drink a beer, enjoy the day, because that is how the men and women who died for us would want it to be. It's a very interesting perspective. I appreciated that. This is an interesting story today. So Trump's approval of Ken Paxton, his nod, giving him the approval over John Cornyn in this Texas Senate runoff for the Republican primary. Super interesting, but I think it's important that you guys understand a little bit more about Ken Paxton, some of his Make America Healthy Again initiatives that he has been implementing in the great state of Texas as the Attorney General. I didn't know some of these things, so I wanted to read this. In the race for the U.S. Senate in Texas, Attorney General Ken Paxton is dominating the polls after a surprise endorsement from President Trump, plus additional support from Make America Healthy Again voters. A SoCal Strategies poll conducted after last week's endorsement from the president found Paxton dominating Texas Republican Rhino John Cornyn by 22 points. Oh my goodness. According to the poll, Paxton leads with 57% of the vote compared to Cornyn's 35%. Primary is set for tomorrow. This runoff is tomorrow. Look, 22%, whether you believe polls or not, we usually share them with you just for kind of entertainment value, because I believe by and large nothing. There's also a poll out today that says despite all of these things that this president is doing around the planet, not just here in America, that nobody likes what he's doing. His approval's in the tank. Oh my God. Well, we'll read that together and see how much you fall for this. But this is what I did not know. As Attorney General in Texas, Ken Paxton has been fighting for these MAHA causes such as pesticides, forever chemicals in clothing, food dyes, and vaccines. And that might be why the establishment crowd, the rhino crowd in the Senator, doesn't want him. They like good old boy John Cornyn, who's all about gun control and screwing over this president's agenda. So this is a little bit that I didn't know. I'd like to share it with you. This week, Ken Paxton announced an historic settlement with the Texas-wide grocery store chain, Albertsons, following an investigation that found it was secretly spraying pesticides on organic labeled produce. Paxton said customers were buying organic produce at a higher price, assuming it was free of pesticides. But it wasn't. And he's like, look, this is a huge win for Texans seeking to avoid synthetic pesticides when purchasing organic produce. And he says, I commend Albertsons for reversing its course of action and signing an historic agreement to help ensure transparency for Texans by requiring its stores to stop the misting of pesticides on organic produce. Didn't know that. Then how about the forever chemicals? Last month, Paxton issued a civil investigative demand to an activewear brand Lululemon. If you know Lululemon, they charge exorbitant prices. Their stuff is legit. But he's like, look, you've got forever chemicals in your clothing. Are you misleading your customers? And he's like, look, I will not allow any corporation to sell harmful toxic materials to consumers at a premium price under the guise of wellness and sustainability. If Lululemon has violated Texas law, it will be held accountable. Beyond that, then how about this challenging vaccines? Paxton also launched an investigation into possible kickback schemes tied to childhood vaccine recommendations. Kickbacks. What? The investigation includes sending more than 20 civil investigative demands to some of the largest medical providers in the country, including United Healthcare and Pfizer. And he said the investigation will examine whether pediatric medical providers, insurance companies, or vaccine manufacturers broke the law by failing to disclose financial incentives such as doctors' wages and bonuses and employment tied to recommending and administering vaccines to children. He says, look, I'm going to ensure that big pharma and big insurance don't bribe medical providers to pressure parents to jab their kids with vaccines they feel aren't safe or necessary. Now, any of the three things that I just said to you, whether it's about clothing, chemicals, or pesticides on organic fruits and vegetables, or going after this incentive-based diagram, if you will, to encourage doctors to force us to vaccinate our... Do you think that guy would be pretty badass in the Senate? Yeah. Sucks to be you, John Cornyn. Sucks to be you, John Thune. Because the writing is on the wall for you, buddy. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this. Tomorrow, that big day in Texas. What is on the line next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network? You know, he's not just sitting there like Karen Bass, who's like, well, let's just drive me to the next photo op where we look like we're doing something. He's doing the unsexy work of digging into the truth about these things that are damaging to not just Texans, but to everybody. And I think it's very interesting when President Trump put his support behind Ken Paxton. Yeah, it was for Ken Paxton, but it was a huge flare. He was like, and all of the Rhino class saw it on the horizon. We're coming for you. We're done with you. You failed us too long, and we expect better. So good luck with that. Thune is going to get primaried. I love that Scott Pressler is all over him. And it's basically the Save America Act. I think Trump saw, and we're going to talk about this, it wasn't going to make it. And I don't even know if it will before the midterms. I don't know. But the speed with which stuff happens legislatively is ridiculously slow. And you've got a very impatient president and a very impatient MAGA crowd here in America. I don't think I need to tell you that. So over the weekend, Friday after graduation, I said to Bobby and Chris if they wanted to have a couple of their buddies over to hang out and stay up late and laugh and what have you, that they could. And so they did. They had a couple buddies over and they were in the basement and what have you. And then I see Bobby after his friends leave in the morning, Joe, and I make breakfast for all of them. And after the boys leave, I see Bobby goes underneath the sink and grabs the sniper. And he goes downstairs with some paper towels, and he's down there for like 15, 20 minutes. And he comes out holding, and he's like, I just got to tell you, this stuff is amazing. And he's literally holding this in his hand. He's like, well, I don't know what this stuff is, but it's amazing. And I'm like, can I please have a testimonial from you?
Yeah, because you should have hit record on
I'm
your
like,
phone.
wait a minute, let me get a voice memo. And he's like, this is the best stuff. It doesn't just clean, it deodorizes. And so when you walk into an environment after you've disinfected with Sniper, everything smells clean again. It's like, it's not just to the eye. You could tell. You're like, that is fantastic. And Bob's like, this stuff is the best. Disinfectwithsniper.com. This is one of many products. They also have the Harmony. I've got to spray that. I have 2 hosta in the back that I did not spray, and they're being eaten by bugs right now. I got to spray the bejabbers out of it. Get the safe organic pesticide from Harmony, which is sold at disinfectwithsniper.com. You're going to love all of the products, especially if you're out in the yard. All sorts of things for you to choose from. The deer stop eating my freaking hosta. That's the spray. That's one spray.
You should name that, rename that.
Get the F away from my hosta. There's the deer stop. There's the bug spray. There's this antibacterial. Then there's Knockout, which is the most amazing deodorant. If you have an environment or something in your house that is just smelly, it won't be for long. I can tell you that. Knockout there. All of it. Disinfectwithsniper.com.
Yeah. Tom's reminding me so when I moved one of the things doing the fence, we had like ants everywhere.
Oh, woof.
Harmony
took him out.
He's like, holy cow. Took him out. I was like, I got the perfect thing for it.
That's
DOA.
awesome. Yeah. It's a special product, I'm going to say. Definitely special product. I love what's going on tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to tell John Thune an awful lot. Because if it's not even close, if Ken Paxton blows John Cornyn out of the water, and I suspect he will. Thune's doomed. Writing's on the wall, bro. Has been.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like Trump allowed him to be in this leadership position, Thune, so that we could all see what's actually going on.
Which all of us who follow this stuff
right.
were skeptical because he was McConnell's right-hand man.
Correct.
So.
It's like whomever your curious bedfellows are sure tells you an awful lot about what your real incentives and objectives are out there. Anywho, let's see what's going on out here. Let's see. I'm going to refresh. We've got 1.32 thousand rumbles. We've got 3,000 people watching live. That's phenomenal on a holiday. Thank you. And welcome if you're new.
Oh, someone threw money at you.
Hit follow. What? $100 from Froggy in memory of our bravest. That was that's a very lovely donation. Thank you to the Wendy Loves Chicken Wings Fund. Just kidding.
The windshield fund.
That's very sweet. I appreciate that. Let's see what you guys, 155 comments. Let's see, sort by newest. Oh, I love all the flags. Cornyn's Good Old Boys Network, good old Bush. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, that's a beautiful speak up for us. Beautiful message about Memorial Day. Hanson says it's beautiful in Ohio. Finally. Steaks marinating. Ooh. Wow. I lost 2 husbands to Agent Orange related cancers. Thank you for honoring them. Whew. Yeah, I know you guys. There's a lot going on. Well, thank you for being here. I was surprised. Usually the lead up of a holiday weekend, there's not a whole lot going on, and there's been a whole lot going on. The president is now speaking at Arlington. Have you guys been to Arlington? It is we went when our twins were, I think, 2. And it's wild because as 2-year-olds, as toddlers, they got the vibe of the place. Like you don't make loud noises. You're very quiet and respectful. It's like everybody gets it when they're there. It's one of those places you have to see. Just mesmerizing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. Which I separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Well, talk about a risky gamble on the part of the Rhino class in Washington, D.C. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program, and a very warm and safe wish for your Memorial Day today from this program to you. So I think President Trump just basically told John Thune how he feels about him. And that's the bigger issue of what's going on in Texas tomorrow with this runoff for the Republican candidate for Senate. Revolver News has a very interesting article this morning and this afternoon that I wanted to read to you. And it goes like this. This wasn't some run-of-the-mill Trump political endorsement. It was a message. Yes, I agree. A lot of D.C. insiders believed President Trump would eventually endorse Rhino establishment Texas Senator John Cornyn for one reason and one reason only, the SAVE Act. Did you guys ever in a million years think Trump was going to endorse Cornyn? No way, no how. It would be completely contrary to what this guy is all about, this president. He gave John Thune an opportunity. He said, look, you're the Senate Majority Leader. I agree with that. That's fantastic. We'll work alongside of you. He didn't besmirch him. He didn't disparage him. He said, let's go. You're a strong leader. Make it happen. And then he's forced all of us to pay attention to the lack of any kind of movement on what 84% of Americans want. Photo identification and proof of citizenship to vote in our elections. This is not complicated. It's very complicated, apparently, for John Thune, right? The thinking was that Trump would tolerate backing a deeply unpopular Rhino if it helped secure the passing of one of the biggest election integrity issues in the country. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the GOP establishment probably thought that they had some kind of leverage. They wanted to protect Cornyn, keep the machine running like always. And then they could do kind of like what Iran does, right? Run out the clock, slow walk, not really meet when they should. They thought they had the leverage. They could keep slow walking the SAVE Act, string Trump and the voters along, and eventually force Trump into swallowing another establishment ally for the good of the party. But then something changed. He said, nope. Trump realized the deal was probably never real to begin with. And once it happened, the entire thing flipped. Because if the SAVE Act was never truly moving, and if Senate leadership was simply using it as bait while trying to save one of the most anti-MAGA Republicans in Washington, And Trump's decision makes perfect sense, right? So apparently Axios spoke with somebody on the condition of anonymity. And apparently that person said Trump, in essence, was like, why the F should I support this guy? Why should I support Cornyn if we can't get what we want, what 84% of the country wants across the finish line? Why would I support you? Well, that question, why the F should I support this guy? I'm not so sure I would hear President Trump saying that, but maybe. That question sent shockwaves through the GOP establishment. Axios looked into whether what reportedly happened behind the scenes, according to insiders, the SAVE Act was the only thing keeping Trump from immediately cutting Cornyn loose. And once he realized that path was collapsing, the president moved fast and endorsed Ken Paxton and blew up the GOP establishment. Here's how Axios, obviously on the left, says the only reason the president was holding on to Cornyn was the SAVE Act. This confidant said to Axios. And when that became a lost cause, it was, why the F should I support this guy? Trump saw some polling over the weekend. The polling showed Paxton will win in November. Might have been Paxton's polling, but it's Texas, this Trump advisor said. Well, GOP lawmakers have several must-pass bills in the next 5 months. And this is important. President Trump is demanding money for ICE and Border Patrol before June 1. What did Thune do? He basically gave him the middle finger fungu and sent the Senate home for the holiday weekend without getting this thing across the finish line. Then there's Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, the FISA Act. That expires June 12th. There's a farm bill that needs to pass by September 30th. Republicans working to pass a housing bill to lower costs and also looking for 60 votes on a bill to provide market structure for cryptocurrency. Okay. All of these things looming in the balance. And Trump has basically said, look, enforce GOP loyalty with raw fear, naked threats, and decisive punishment. Well, Trump isn't acting like somebody trying to peacefully coexist with the GOP establishment power structure. He looks like somebody who is dismantling it piece by piece. In fact, and by the way, MAGA, the base, agrees with what he's doing because this is what we asked for. This is the mandate we gave the man in November of 2024, and he's executing it, not the other way around. This is what John Cornyn had to say on News Nation about why the president did not endorse him. Let's see if Cornyn understands what's really going on.
Do you think the president flinched in endorsing you because he didn't think you could win?
You know, I really don't think it was about me. I think it's very different from the Cassidy and Massey situation because I've been a Trump ally, as you point out. I think he got frustrated with the Senate not able to get what he wanted when he wanted it. And as you know, the president can be a pretty impatient guy, and I certainly understand that. He's a chief executive guy. He's not a legislative guy. And so I think he just got frustrated, and he wanted to send a message.
Well, here's a message, John Thune, or rather John Cornyn. Earth to you, brother. We're all freaking frustrated. You guys don't do anything. See, the Democrats, when they get something hot and horny on their side, they get it done. Whether or not we agree with it, usually we don't. We all want something, even the Democrats, even the independents. And you people can't move it along. And then they want to say to us, well, the rhino establishment class in the Senate is like, well, you know, this deal breaker is this $1.776 billion weaponization fund that the president wants to use to be able to compensate victims of Democrat lawfare under Joe Biden, to compensate them for the crippling monetary damage that they've suffered. And the rhinos in the Senate want you to believe that's really the sticking point. We can't get behind that. Really? Reince Priebus said something very interesting. Former RNC chair said this on Fox yesterday. He's like, look, this fund that the Senate is melting down over, it's really about Trump taking 9 years of hits and lawfare and deciding not to sue the federal government over it. And instead, I'm going to sit on my $10 billion lawsuit, which I deserve. And instead, let's create a fund to pay back those who lost so much. Reince Priebus says it very eloquently in this exchange. Listen.
I'm sure that there'll be some parameters around this fund, and because there's one thing that these senators understand, that betting against Trump in our party is like betting against gravity. And they all know it. They all go to the county Lincoln Day dinners. They all go to the state conventions. They know that Trump runs the show. And by the way, on the weaponization issue, our lives were turned upside down in the Trump White House. I mean, on day 2, the FBI came in. We were subpoenaed. We didn't know what was true and what wasn't at first. Now we know it was all a hose job. But at the time, we didn't know anything. And for years, I spent many meetings with the DOJ and the FBI, hundreds of thousands of dollars on legal fees. It ruined everything in the beginning of our time in the White House. And so, yeah, it was wrong. I mean, I don't know another White House chief of staff that had to have a criminal defense attorney on retainer for something that was a complete made-up joke, but we did. And so the president sued the DOJ for all of the things that happened to him, which was like times 100 on us. And he could have gotten a lot of money for what happened to him. And he instead settled that case and said, I'm going to settle this case. And I'm going to put this pot of money over here to take care of all the people that were wrong.
And when you hear it in that perspective, it makes a whole lot of sense. Senator Tommy Tuberville, he's like, look, the senators, the rhinos who are squawking over this $1 billion, $2 billion restitution fund for the thousands of American victims of the Biden DOJ's weaponization had no problem giving pallets of cash to Ukraine.
And if we allow weaponization in this country of our government towards our people, our taxpayers, our citizens, we are going to fall as a country. We're not going to make it. 100%. And we're on thin ice as it is with all the debt we have. But we've got to protect the people of this country. We didn't, you know, if the people are complaining about this, I'll say this, they didn't hesitate one time to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, but they're complaining about $1.5 billion for this. It doesn't make sense to me. This is all personal towards President Trump. I don't think they have anything to do with this other than a lot of them just don't like President Trump. They don't like the way he's governing. They don't like the way he's attacking some of the senators that have been there for a long time, some of the friends in there, but you can't make it personal. We better go back to work and get this done because the American people are counting on us.
And I think his point is so well said. Of course, we've spent $187 billion on Ukraine. This $1.776 billion weaponization fund is not even 1% of what we sent to Ukraine. And you and I didn't have a say in the matter. I think that eliminates or illuminates, I should say, the power struggle going on in the Senate. Rhinos are going to lose. Period. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, that's destructive touch. Progressives are ruining everything they get their hands on. And if you don't believe me, come back with us as we go to Washington State, Seattle, for a reality check. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
That video disappeared. Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know where.
Gremlins. See, this is why I had a nervous breakdown 10 years ago on my computer. I'm like, where did it go? GLP-1 Gold. You know, I saw some family over the weekend that have had tremendous success with the weight loss products out there on the market, the shots and what have you. And here's the thing that I'm interested in. If you lose a lot of weight, are you stuck then taking these shots for the rest of your life? Because if that's the case, I think that's a big fat no for a lot of people out there who are suspicious of Big Pharma. This is one of these companies, Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Juvenon offers a kinder, gentler medication, a supplement that basically brings to life the hormone inside of your body that maybe isn't working the way it should. It's the GLP-1 hormone. And this is the thing that says to your brain, to your gut, I'm done eating. I don't need to eat anymore. This is appetite control 100%. This is, I'm going to stop your cravings. We're going to stop all the food noise that derails your weight loss agenda and forces you to step on the scale and be like, I can never move the needle. How about this for a gentler assistant than the weight loss shots? This is a significant weight loss product. This is for people specifically who have lots of weight to lose, just don't want to do it the shot way. GLP-1 Gold. Go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy, and you'll see the GLP-1 Gold offered there. Click on it. It's about $1 a day, if it's even that. Give it a shot. Give it a shot for a couple months. Spend 30 or 60 bucks. Give it the good old-fashioned try. If you're worried about having to be on a GLP-1 shot for the rest of your life, you don't have to be. All you need maybe is some assistance. GLP-1 Gold from Juvenon, bloodflow7.com. Lots of people are experiencing significant weight loss. GLP-1 Gold from bloodflow7.com/Wendy. What'd you say?
I throw money at you.
Well, what? Why? $20 from another 20 for your chicken wings. And Froggy, another 50. Buy a good cigar. Froggy, you've given us $170.
Would Jolene chip in $1?
Aw, Froggy, thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate you very much. Unnecessary, but very, very generous. Thank you. Yeah. All right, let's see if I can get this bad boy done before we come back. Shut up. You should be supportive.
I am.
No, you're not. That's not such.
It looks great.
Oh, God. You know what?
What? Wow.
How about that? Froggy doesn't talk to me like that. Do you? Mm-hmm.
No, Jolene, you don't get a thank you for $1. If the Rumbles cut, that ain't enough to get a Coke.
Oh my goodness. This is it's really,
I do need to buy a printer. Thank you for reminding me.
it's really very scary what's going on in Seattle. And it's not just Starbucks. Economic collapse report. I know it's super, enlightening and uplifting, isn't it? Economic collapse, bum, bum, bum. But it's important because it gets into some of the granular nitty gritty about the consequences of elections. Look, whatever's going on in Seattle, it ain't working. Okay. I'm just going to tell you that it's not working. Seattle's housing market is imploding as the Starbucks effect takes hold. Look, as people all over the country, you've got tomorrow, Texas, next Tuesday, California, right? The primary there. As people take to their polls, every single lever poll, every bubble filled has such significance when you look at the effect that progressive policies have on some of America's greatest cities. Nobody's been paying attention to Seattle's descent into progressive experimentation should be surprised. The Emerald City's real estate market is cooling so rapidly as major employers like Starbucks pull back and residents flee high taxes, crime, and disorder. Home prices in King County alone have dropped nearly $50,000 in a single year. What? Inventory is surging. The once hot sellers market has given way to buyer leverage. This isn't some random fluctuation. It's the predictable result of governance that prioritizes ideology over prosperity. or we could just say over reality at all. The data from the Northwest Multiple Listing Service tells a stark story. King County's active home inventory jumped nearly 30%, pushing median prices from $907,000 to $859,000. In neighboring Snohomish County, inventory soared 58%, while prices slipped from $755,500 to $750,000. Homes now linger on the market for weeks rather than days, with many selling below asking price. The Starbucks effect is real. When anchor businesses signal retreat, confidence follows. Starbucks' strategic expansion into Nashville, complete with a major new hub and thousands of jobs, underscores the broader flight from Washington's punitive tax environment and regulatory hostility. That's what's going on in California. Steve Hilton just put out a great video about the gas prices there. He's running, obviously, as a Republican for governor. And he's like, look, you can blame Chevron, you can blame Trump all you want for the exorbitant gas prices in California. But you got to look at the progressive policies of California before you point fingers elsewhere. The most ridiculous tax structure, the most ridiculous rules and regulations. Steve Hilton did a video with a guy who owns 2 Ace Hardware stores, and he can't sell any of his gas-powered, no more gas-powered lawn tools there. You know about this, no more, and it kills their industry.
Well, not just that. He used to have a business that was a small engine repair. That guy from Ace in California, he's like, so what's that done? He goes, I don't have a business anymore.
I don't have a business. He can't even sell, Brock, the umbrellas. The umbrellas that you and I would put on our backyard patio or what have you. In California, they have to have special additives, a special stamp on them. And so it adds dollars to the process, and you have to pass that on to your consumer. You get every which way. In California and Seattle, you're reaping what you sow. If you're going to fall for the crap promises of progressives, you better prepare for the demise of your neighborhoods. This is what has me terrified where I live in Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, one of the most corrupt counties in the country, right?
Just talk about, just to have what you're doing done, just the fees for all the
construction, you need to have
permits, classes.
You've got a backyard. I have a backyard construction project going, and the guy who's my contractor had to go take a class to prove he's worthy of some license in our city and our county. It's the dumbest thing that doesn't move the needle, but it does add to the cost of construction, and it does dissuade any kind of improvements. Seattle is experiencing it. If you want to bank on something, is now a good time to buy real estate there? Yeah, if you think it's ever going to come back. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Spencer Pratt, absolutely crushing Karen Bass in fundraising. Say what? Next.
If I remember correctly, you telling me the class was for something he wasn't even going to need.
He had to prove that he knew how to do this or that. And what we're doing had absolutely nothing to do with asbestos mitigation. We're putting in new stuff, not removing old stuff.
You're putting something where something doesn't exist.
Think about Joe taking continuing education credits, right? It's a racket. He has to continually prove that he's up to speed on this and that advancement, et cetera, et cetera. Except in order to prove your knowledge, you've got to register for the test, which itself is a racket, but then you need the materials. You've got to study. This is the materials that you need in order to pass it. And in order to get the materials, you have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to take some online class and then pass the test. It's not really moving any needles, but it is a revenue generator for a bunch of ancillary causes. All you want is your cardiologist, is he able to identify your heart blockages and then make sure that you're okay? Yeah. He's got to spend thousands of dollars every year proving that he's this or he's that. Really? Okay. It's preposterous. But Seattle, the story there, and you've got that whack job progressive mayor. Doesn't she live with her parents? Wasn't she financed by her parents in the basement? That's my girl. The one who's never met a payroll, the one who doesn't understand, insurance and all of the various things you need to do as an employer. Okay. The number of things that I have to have, and it's Brock and me. I have to have unemployment compensation. I have to have workers' compensation. I have to do this and that, all of this. Disability.
I'm worth it.
And it's one guy. It's me and one guy. Okay.
Are you even covered?
Me?
Yeah.
No,
Are you covered?
No, it's for you. No.
I'm worth everything.
They don't care about me. I'm worth everything. Health revolution. This is definitely one of those things that you need to jot down. And I want you to, I encourage you to, because I believe that in the next several months, this whole Obamacare thing is going to blow up in the faces of those who were so horny to push it. You couldn't keep your doctor. You couldn't keep your insurance. Your costs never went down. Now people realize it's unaffordable and they're bailing in droves from the marketplace. And what happens when that happens? The system collapses. So you need to be able to have your own health insurance. Well, what if you could create your own policy? Instead of the government telling you what you were going to have, how about you could choose the coverage that you wanted and therefore reduce your premium, right? Have no co-payments. What? And see any doctor that you want. It sounds a little too flexible. It's called Health Revolution. info.healthrevolution.net. Bookmark that. Write it down. Put it somewhere. Go onto your computer right now. info.healthrevolution.net. Go up to bookmarks. Drop it down and be like, bookmark this page. Because you're going to need it. It might not be right now. It might not be next Thursday, but you will. If you're under the age of 65, if you're self-employed, if you're on COBRA, if you're in that group of people who are young and off their parents' insurance, but not making enough money to splurge on health insurance, which you should have, 800-868-6187. Call them. 800-868-6187. This is for you. This is going to save you 30 to 60% on your insurance costs, health insurance costs. Again, no copays, low deductibles, right? And you choose your doctor. You choose your coverage, period. No.
I should have sent you something I saw this morning. I saw a guy pissed off on X with his bills. He had to go to the emergency room. And he's like, and I stopped doing insurance because I paid $800 a month. And he's like, and here's the bill, $26,000 or $26,000. He's like, and I don't understand why. Like, I can't afford. I'm 26 and I'm healthy, and I don't have. He's like, so they gave me a discount.
Oh, it's $600.
It was $2,400 after everything because he didn't have insurance. I almost put in his comment, you should probably check out Health Revolution.
I'm telling you, I think our friends Tim and Tom are light years ahead of anybody else, offering this own, you create your policy. There's no open enrollment. You don't have to squeeze your timeline into this. It's like, how about you choose? You're the one paying for it. Shouldn't you at least get peace of mind? Is that too much to ask? Well, is having homes in Seattle that are affordable and that aren't in neighborhoods where squatters are right across the street with needles and poop on the street and all that jazz.
Hey, ask Tom and Jolene.
They
got out of
moved.
Seattle. They had just built a new home.
They were like, peace out.
Yeah,
they have a daughter. They're like,
you guys are crazy.
Not happening. They were cutting edge. They bailed for Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Talk about a complete. The libs are trying to take over Gettysburg too, though.
Yeah,
fight them, Tom and Jolene. I love Spencer Pratt. It's Memorial Day Monday, and we are honored and delighted to share 3 hours of common sense conservatism with you. It's never complicated on this show. You know, people who are looking at Spencer Pratt, this not a politician, not a guy heavily involved at all in politics, guy says he hates politics and politicians because politicians burned down his house in the Palisades. If the Democratic Party is not paying attention to this guy, they ought to now because he's taking over. The parallels between Spencer Pratt and Donald Trump are very intriguing to me in that they're both political outsiders, if you will. Neither of them is buyable. Nobody's bribing President Trump. Nobody's got the proverbial gun to his head. He doesn't owe anybody anything. He is a self-made man who got your vote because you created him. The circumstances in Los Angeles, which have been deteriorating for a while, gave rise to Spencer Pratt. The ashes that used to be 6,000 homes in the Pacific Palisades gave rise to Spencer Pratt. A person who is beholden to nobody, who loves his city, who loves his family, who loved his neighbors before they were burned to the ground. This is the guy who's running as the Republican candidate for mayor of Los Angeles. Karen Bass expected, as I would imagine John Cornyn in Texas expected. I'm just going to be able to run this course out. I'm the incumbent. I'll forever be elected. That's the way it's always been. My failures be damned. Yeah, about that. Spencer Pratt raised $2.7 million to Karen Bass's $283,000. Did you guys hear that? $283,000 the incumbent mayor of Los Angeles has raised versus Spencer Pratt's $2.7 million. What the hell is going on? The tenfold disparity shows you exactly how tired people in LA are of watching their city become Seattle. Tired of it. I want you to hear Billy Bush. So Billy Bush, there's a clip of him on Fox interviewing Spencer Pratt about getting into politics, about how his administration would be about the same thing President Trump's administration has been about. Radical transparency. We're going to show you where your taxpayer dollars have been going because it sure isn't anything that you want in LA. This is why Spencer Pratt is such a threat to the establishment. I want you to hear this because it's worth hearing these 20-odd seconds over and over again. Listen.
I'm not political. I never wanted to be a politician. I actually hate politicians. Politicians are the reason my house burned down, my parents' house burned down.
You drive around the streets of Los Angeles, it's disgusting. And that is just not okay. And Spencer says, look, his whole platform, like he just said, is truthfulness. I'm going to show you the money we take in and where the money goes, to what NGOs, to what programs, how efficient are they? Just total accountability and transparency. I'm down for that.
Total accountability and transparency. That is extraordinarily dangerous to the machine that is used to rinse and repeat. And if your house burns down or your child is abducted or your son overdoses in one of the tent cities along Skid Row, well, that's just what it's going to take. No. See, the Democratic Party wants people, the Angelenos, who are going to determine the fate of that great city. They want Angelenos to not believe their eyes. Don't see the filth and the squalor and the graffiti and the garbage and the tent cities and the drug zombies. Don't pay attention to the crime and to the issues of rampant illegal immigration. Don't trust your ears. Don't trust your instincts. Don't follow your gut. Don't use your God-given gift of common sense. Believe what we tell you. And what we tell you is you've got to keep voting for us. We're the only ones. This is how it's always been done. Well, that all changed in 2016, ladies and gentlemen, when 63 million of you voted for President Trump and opened that new chapter. And you've watched the vicious fight back from the Democrats. They tried to kill the man, for heaven's sakes. How many times? Spencer Pratt says, you know what? I'm all in. I hate politicians. I never asked to be one, but they burned down my house and they walked away from me. And they've made it ridiculously complicated for any kind of progress because they don't want the Palisades rebuilt. They don't want homeowners getting their slice of the American dream back. And it's obvious. Then there's this, the prediction markets. This has changed. Spencer Pratt has an 80% chance to advance in the Los Angeles mayor election. You know, there are 3 candidates. The top 2 get the votes. And when you hear something like this in Pratt's new video, talking about the truth behind LA's homelessness problem, you understand why he is gaining so much momentum. This video, we're going to play a small clip. This video had 5 million views in 4 days. Tell me, what have you seen from Karen Bass? Because I've seen nothing. This is Spencer on the reality of Los Angeles's homelessness problem.
Los Angeles doesn't have a homeless problem. We have a drug problem. The DEA will tell you that over 90% of the homeless population in LA are hardcore illicit drug users.
How many people are using illicit drugs in the homeless community? I would say it's incredibly high.
20%, 30%?
Of the overall problem?
Yeah.
Over 90%.
Cartels are operating in the open, forcing addicts to traffic drugs and murdering them when they don't meet their quota. Dogs are being killed by meth heads, and fentanyl addicts test their drugs on these innocent animals. None of my opponents are living in this reality, and all they want is more taxpayer-funded housing. You cannot fix a drug problem with more housing.
Spencer Pratt is exactly right. If I would have the easiest job in the world if all I had to do to treat drug addiction was put people in 4 walls.
Right,
Put them
right.
inside and they're cured. Oh my God, we're done here. That is an insanity. And finally, somebody has the huevos to say it out loud.
You cannot fix LA's drug problem with street medical teams jamming Narcan up their noses and simply propping them up to overdose again and again and again until these poor souls inevitably die in the streets. But it's even worse than that. Currently, Mayor Bass and Nithya Raman are increasing the rampant drug use by using your tax dollars to hand out fentanyl needles, tourniquets, and crack pipes to addicts throughout the city.
Actually, the city paying for people to drive around, hand out needles and pipes and other things to use drugs.
By doing this, they are killing 6 to 7 people every day. In the streets, in full public view of you and your children, and they pretend they're the compassionate ones?
What is Karen Bass's reply to this? What's your retort? What's your defense? What's your offense? What's your plan? Oh, well, we just need more time. Really? More time to do what? To destroy Los Angeles once and for all? Chris Rufo, an investigative journalist, was on with Fox over the weekend. He's like, look, it is exactly the conditions that Karen Bass puts out in the city that entices addicts from around not just the country, but the world to come to Los Angeles. Those aren't Angelinos. Half of them come from out of the country, out of the state. Listen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Los Angeles is one of the most beautiful places, not just in the United States, but in the world.
And of course, people want to come to Los Angeles from all over. But what's really happening is that the policies under Karen Bass and previous mayoral administrations really incentivizes street homelessness. You're not going to get in trouble for camping on the streets. You're not going to get in trouble for doing drugs on the streets. You're not even going to get in trouble for committing petty crimes to fuel your addiction. And the consequence of that is what we call the magnet effect. It creates a magnet from homeless all over. More than 50% are not from LA, 40% are from out of state. And when we did this report, we even found homeless who had migrated from Cuba, Venezuela, and North Korea.
Because it's easier to be a junkie on Skid Row than it is to actually live in a country that has punishments for said behavior. Now, Harvey Levin from TMZ, certainly no conservative guy here, he says the LA mayoral primary is Karen Bass's to lose, with former criminal defense attorney turned LA Magazine owner Mark Garagos. He's talking to him on his podcast. And they say Karen Bass couldn't pay for the organic reach Spencer Pratt has using artificial intelligence and other creators who are on his bandwagon. That Karen Bass couldn't pay for this kind of outreach, and she's got no answer for it.
I think Karen Bass is going to come in second. I really do. I think Spencer's going to get more votes than her. And it's, again, combination between displeasure with her and the fact that he's run a good campaign.
But to your point, the AI memes have really talked to any political strategist who knows what they're doing. You've had traditionally this huge, in a post-Citizens United world, huge amounts of money going into PACs and other kinds of things. This has really, in a lot of ways, been a kind of a insurgent campaign using AI and memes and those kinds of quirky ads that have worked tremendously as they go viral repeatedly. And you can't even spend the amount of money that they are getting in terms of the results.
Well, not just that. He's not even producing them. There are just people on the outside doing it.
Grassroots support for change to save Los Angeles. And here's the amazing thing. Spencer Pratt does not talk about President Trump. He's not relying on Trump. He doesn't need his endorsement. He hasn't asked for his endorsement. This is Alex Michelson, CNN. He doesn't know what to say in the sit-down interview with Spencer Pratt when he asks him, who's his political role model?
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I mean, that's what.
Yeah, he was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
Are there any modern politicians that you're especially studying or drawn to?
No, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I want to be a fighter for the people.
I want to be a fighter for the people. I don't want to be a hack. I don't want to be like everybody else. And Alex Michelson almost thinks he's joking when he says, who's your inspiration? Who's your motive? Jesus Christ. Yeah, but really, no, you don't understand, bro. Whether I'm touched by an angel or moved by God, so help me, I'm going to give this fight everything I've got. Karen Bass better be paying attention. She better be sweating. When we come back, what about the race for California governor? Is the Golden State ready for a new face? You know how many candidates are on the ticket? Oh my, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm telling you what, it is nuts. Let's see.
I just texted you.
Yes. Well, certainly his prerogative. So Brock just sent me something that Thomas Massey posted, and he has it. This is his new X handle. It says Thomas Massey for Congress. He says he filed a form with the Federal Elections Commission for the 2028 House race. So he knows that he's lost. He's got primaried out. He wants back in. He's like, this allows me to raise funds to continue my political operations, supporting my position as a current office holder and as a potential candidate for federal office. He feels that there's money to make. There's money to raise. He says, I haven't made a final decision about which office to seek if I run.
He wants to run as president. That's the only way he'll take down.
Okay. Thomas Massie is certainly a man of principle. He stood up for what he believes in. And he also said, didn't he also say before he leaves, he's going to drop names from the
He
Epstein
said he's
files?
going to go and read all the Epstein names in Congress.
Okay.
Why didn't you do that already?
Yeah.
He's been threatening this. This is what makes me angry about these guys. He's all fight, fight, fight. You've been talking about doing this for how long? What's taken so long? Why did it take you losing? Makes me think you were never going to do it anyways.
Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. If you do not live in southwestern Pennsylvania, I wish you did, because there's actually a company out there that you can depend on. A company that you can call if you suspect that you need a new roof, whether you're seeing water damage or you're concerned about the age of your roof. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. One of their guys will come out, get up on your roof. They'll walk around it. They'll inspect it thoroughly. They'll write out a detailed estimate, so you have an idea of what it's going to cost you. And that estimate that they give you doesn't cost you anything. And it gives you a full year locked in at that price, a full year, to use that estimate and get those repairs made. That's radical transparency. Then you can shop around. See, I shopped around, and Ireland Contracting's cost for my roof was $8,000 less than the next competitor. $8,000 is that's a lot of money. Roofing, soffit and fascia, downspouts. You need new gutters. It's not sexy, super necessary. Siding, electrical work. Remember, their son Dan does electrical work. All of this and more at IrelandContracting.com. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com. So what do you think the answers are here? Let's see.
Can we get the 2K?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
We're only $390 away.
All right. Let's go. John, thank you for the $5. Jolene's windshield fund. Oh, Jolene, $1 to repay Brock for the windshield so he shuts up about it. Right?
What? You brought it up, not me.
You wanted me to. All right, so let's talk about this race for California governor. Is the Golden State ready for a new face, for a new chapter? Right? Did you know how many candidates there are on this primary ballot for next Tuesday in California? There are 62. Dr. Drew was sitting down with Adam Carolla on his show over the weekend, and he thought it was only like 45, but he missed the 17 names on the back page. It's really 62 people running to be governor of California. That's the way it goes in California. Think about that when you hear whose name appears first on the ballot. So weird. Listen.
We have sample ballot, California, and you opened to the governor page. Well, the first thing that would strike someone, perhaps not from this state, I imagine, about the governor selection, you were to fill in and vote for one candidate.
One candidate.
From amongst 45.
45
there
candidates.
There are 45 candidates here. I would say 41 of which I've never heard their names uttered before.
How long does it take to get to Steve Hilton?
Steve Hilton.
Is it alphabetical?
No, it's sort of random, but yet Tom Steyer ends up at the top. Numero uno.
Yeah, that's a little. So there's 45 names, and the rich guy who the Democrats want to win ends up at the very top of the first column on the left.
And right after him is Eric Swalwell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They should either go alphabetically or they should put everyone's name in a ping pong ball and put it in a hopper, just pull out whatever the order it is. So how do they end up with the two Democratic frontrunners first and second?
And by the way, whatever they said they did, I don't believe them. We're at that,
I don't believe them. I don't believe them either.
We're at that point now where if a Democrat says something is going on, you disbelieve it. Nope, not true. Don't even believe that. So out of 62 names, number 1 is Tom Steyer, but somewhere buried on the 3rd page. And quite literally, it takes you 5 minutes to get through all of the names. Down there would be Steve Hilton's name. Well, speaking of him, his campaign tagline is try something different, right? Standing in front of the concrete monstrosity that was supposed to be part of Gavin Newsom's bullet train that isn't and won't ever be without billions more of taxpayer dollars. Here is how Steve Hilton is embracing this whole world of snappy video editing to directly connect with the voters.
There it is, the flagship achievement of Gavin Newsom and 16 years of Democrat one-party rule. This is the high-speed train to whisk us from San Francisco to Los Angeles in 2.5 hours. It's open in 2020, didn't you know? And it was finished for $30 billion. Oh, wait, they have still not laid any tracks. Now they're saying that maybe, if we're lucky, it's going to take you from San Francisco to Merced on the regular train tracks, then from Merced to Bakersfield on high-speed rail whenever they finish it, and then Bakersfield to LA in a bus, which itself could take 2.5 hours. That's the project that they're now saying, if you're lucky, will be finished by the end of the 2030s for $231 billion. $200 billion over budget, 3 decades late. That is not a bullet train. That is a bull train. And I've made it very clear, when I'm governor, I am going to stop this thing in its tracks. Oh, wait, I can't because they haven't laid any tracks, but I'm going to stop it anyway.
I mean, what do you see from Tom Steyer, Katie Porter, Xavier Becerra? What do you see that they're putting out that's even close to this? And then in this video, Steve Hilton leans into these videos to expose what's really behind California's highest gas prices in America.
Gavin Newsom is telling Californians to boycott Chevron because of their high gas prices. And they are high. $6.39 today in California. But also today in Jackson County, Mississippi, you can get gas from Chevron for $3.99. That is $2.40 less than here in California. Same company, different prices. Why? Because of Gavin Newsom and his policies. We shouldn't be boycotting individual oil companies. We should be boycotting the Democrat policies that have given us the highest gas prices in the country. My plan is to get us to $3 gas. Vote for change.
Okay, so I just typed in Tom Steyer. Steve Hilton's leaning into what Spencer Pratt is doing brilliantly. Here's here's Tom Steyer, the billionaire, one of the front runners that the Democrats want to become governor of California. Tom Steyer campaigns on reparations and then needs a police escort to escape Leimert Park after the very people who he claims to champion surround his car and won't let him leave. Ooh, it doesn't look so good for you, Tommy boy. But of course, the Democrats want everybody to believe it's all about you that they want. Right. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, the media working overtime on a holiday weekend to tell you everything you think you know is really not what's going on at all. Oh my, next. So he gets surrounded by a bunch of black men and women who are like, ooh, and they're all in his face about his plans. It's like, I thought you wanted to give money to black people, but black people aren't buying it. So, Tom, what are you doing? After giving $50,000 to an anti-black Latino male-owned platform, I guess it's called FOO. Never heard of it. Democrat candidate for governor Tom Steyer had to call a police escort in Los Angeles after he was pressed by black men over reparations during his walkthrough for campaign support. Uh-oh. Oh, and it's getting, and there's fights. There's fist fights.
Of course there's fist.
Wow.
Because,
Way to go, Tom. Tom, I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. When you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand almost half of them try to commit suicide.
That's not because they can't play sports.
It's because they have mental illness and you've groomed them. You know, I've groomed myself into a habit. And I'm ready to admit it.
That's the first step.
Look, I don't have the collagen I once did in my youth. Collagen is super important, and I think more than, maybe not more than I was worried about my crepey skin, trying to fight crepey arms. And like your skin, as you get older, becomes thinner and more translucent, right? I don't want that. I'm going to fight it. And so I did some searching, some Googling, and they're like, one of the greatest things you can do is supplement with collagen peptides. And I was like, really? And then I started reading about collagen peptides and how it's particularly helpful for joints and for cartilage, bones, joints, and cartilage. It's great for getting older and fighting osteoporosis, et cetera, et cetera. So I had surgery on my knee when Murphy blew out my ACL. So I'm very protective of the cartilage and the stuff that I have. And I have that crepitus, that creaky, like, it's kind of like that crunchy sound when you walk up the steps with your knees. So I'm like, bah. So a couple months ago, I started drinking my getnativepath.com/Wendy, my Native Path collagen peptides. There's no additives in this. It's just 100% grass-fed collagen peptides. You're like, well, what do those do for you? Type in collagen peptides and do a 2-second read on the benefit of them. And you'll be like, okay, I want some too. These dissolve. It dissolves a scoop of this in my drink every day. Dissolves instantly in water. It is completely flavorless. You don't even know you're drinking it, but it has such great effect for literally from the tip of your head down to the toes on your feet. Collagen peptides, 100% grass-fed collagen peptides, no fillers, no fluff, no junk, no joke. GetNativePath.com/Wendy, up to 45% off, which is fantastic. Fantastic. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. Tom Steyer, reparations, transgender bull crud. Somebody posts, Tom Steyer sounds like a lunatic. Is it possible he's worse than Gavin? Hey, good luck if you let them cheat. He's on with Jennifer Welch.
Oh, that tells you right there.
Your girlfriend.
No.
All right, I'm gonna have to send this to you so we can use it tomorrow. This looks like it's gonna be delicious. Hacky McHackmore.
You know, here's the thing I don't understand. So Tom Steyer's running.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is a bazillionaire. Why would you go do some philanthropy, enjoy your family, or I don't know, pick up a hobby? Like, why would you want to be governor?
Unless you're someone like Trump or
right.
Spencer Pratt. Trump felt like there was no other solution. He didn't believe that anybody else would be able to weather the darkness and the storm that was going to hit him. Spencer is like, I've got nothing to lose, but I do have everything to gain by protecting my community. And I don't disagree with him. If they elect Karen Bass or Nithya Raman, why would you stay? Why would you stay to rebuild and invest in something that's going to just go to crap anyway? Right? It's very disappointing. All of it. Very disappointing.
Froggy gave you another $50.
What are you doing?
He said, improve your game. This is towards a new putter. Putting isn't her problem. Well, it is, but $50 ain't gonna fix it.
Which is why I don't golf with Brock. It's okay. You can mock all you want until you don't get invited. Suck it. Anywho, Kelly Morgan at More Games Fitness.
Wow. I'm a very good teacher.
Anyway,
You're just
Kelly,
not my prize pupil.
Kelly Morgan, More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ Fitness. She has a very simple and alluring business model. You're finally ready to tackle your weight. And while you tackle your weight, you're worried that you're going to get lots of skin and be like bleh, soft. Why not change how you eat and change your habits and start working out? And Kelly Morgan says you can do it from the comfort of your home or your office or somewhere, because you don't have to be in Pennsylvania where her 4 gyms are located. If you do want to be there, great. She's in Somerset and Cambria counties, 4 locations, fabulous. But if you are somewhere out of state or your gym is not your jam, there are exercises and videos that Kelly shares, part of this 90-day Ignite program. Go to moregainsfitness.com and just scroll up a little bit. You'll see a big button, 90 Ignite. Click on that and enter your information. She'll get in touch with you. How about that? And people have lost entire people in weight. Literally. That one guy lost 100 pounds. What? moregainsfitness.com. She's worth it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury in New York for his alleged hush money payment.
A grand jury indicted former President Donald Trump on state charges stemming from his efforts to overturn Joe Biden's victory.
Breaking news, the federal indictment against Donald Trump, all related to his handling of classified documents after leaving office.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
And then I take it this White House, we're going to fight like hell, I'll tell you right now.
It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live on this Memorial Day Monday. Welcome back. I hope you're all having a really great extended weekend. And as we have said throughout the program, if there is a veteran in your life, if there is a veteran of yours in one of our cemeteries, thank you. Thank you. So the media working overtime on the holiday weekend to try to tell you a story. Harry Enton tried to move it along over at CNN. And I did not include it because I think it's farcical. Do you mean to tell me that, what was it, a couple months ago, President Trump's approval was in the single digits or something of some nature? Now it's like down 50%. What was it, Brock? What was Harry saying? It was something like that, like this cataclysmic drop in President Trump's approval rating.
I believe he said it was down 55 points.
55 points. Do you guys believe that? Do you believe that the Americans are just, they don't like the gas prices? They didn't mind them under Joe Biden. Joe Biden was fine. That's not a big deal. But under Donald Trump, that's it. I can't deal with this, please. Well, Quinnipiac has a poll out. Quinnipiac, I think is how you're supposed to say it. Well, they suck, so whatever. Their new poll numbers apparently show President Trump sinking on job approval, the handling of the economy, basically everything. It's just, this guy's terrible. We have buyer's remorse in this country. Do we really? I believe nothing these people say. I don't know of a single thing right now that this president hasn't tried to take on under the auspices of extreme and extraordinary transparency and accountability. that I take fault with. Do I wish things would happen more quickly or in different ways? Yes, of course. But to say that he's had some 55-point cataclysmic drop in approval, okay. We're getting to that nitty-gritty where they've got nothing left. They tried hantavirus to get you all super afraid. That didn't work. We're going to talk about the tick thing because the news is going to try to tell you that that's not really what's going on. This new Quinnipiac University national poll, registered voters released, I think it was Friday, finds President Trump's approval numbers continue to sink. More than 2 months after the U.S. launched an attack on Iran and oil prices jumped, leading to sharp increases in gasoline and diesel fuel costs, 33% approve of the way President Trump is handling the economy, and 64% disapprove. It's the lowest approval on the economy Trump has received in either of his terms as president. I mean, this is serious. The numbers are even lower than they were in Quinnipiac's poll from April, when 38% of viewers approved of the way Trump was handling the economy and 57% disapproved. And they were like, oh my goodness. In addition to the economy, voters were asked about Trump's handling of immigration, a centerpiece for his administration. The poll found that 40% approve of what he's been doing on immigration and 57% disapprove. That is disqualifying right there. That number right there. Say what you will, people wringing their hands about gas prices. Okay. You mean to tell me that the people who overwhelmingly, and it's not even debatable, landslide form, voted for President Trump for the second term, for the first, the second, and now his third, right? That we really don't like how he's closed the border. It's terrible. I hate that. We really don't like how he wants to get rid of all of the gang-banging, murderous goons and thugs that were basically cleared out of insane asylums and prisons around the world as the Biden administration welcomed with an open tarmac. Come on in to America. That everybody hates that this president wants to get rid of these people. I hate it when somebody wants to make my streets safer, that the Biden administration welcomed criminals and freaks too. We hate that. Right. Please. In addition to the economy and that on trade, Trump had a 36% approval and a 59% disapproval. I hate that this president was making deals in the first several months of his presidency, traveling around the Middle East, talking to all of these kings and rulers. I hate that there's a board of peace. I hate that this president believes in America first, America manufacturing, that he believes in tariffs, that maybe we should stop getting boned by every other country. I hate that. That's what Quinnipiac wants you to believe the majority of Americans are saying. Only 33% approve of what Trump has been doing regarding Iran, 33%. While 61% disapprove. I hate that this president identified the nuclear threat that could possibly have exterminated the entirety of Israel and then America. I hate it. This guy is well out of his range. He's crazy. He's a dictator. He acts like a king. This is ridiculous. Quinnipiac, do better. Okay? Because you know what this poll also tells us? Just 16% of men approve of Democrats in Congress. 16% of men. Wait a minute. I thought the men were walking away from Trump. Trump losing with Generation Z. They don't like what he's selling. Really? Well, where are they going? Because it certainly isn't to the Democrats. This is the number that the Democrat Party cannot talk its way out of. This new Quinnipiac poll puts Democrats in Congress at 20% approval. And among men, it's worse. It's 16% approving against 78% who disapprove. The gender gap. Women sit at 23%, men at 16%. So you mean to tell me this poll that shows everybody hates Trump, they hate what he's doing. Oh my God, it's terrible. They also hate everything that the Democrats are doing. Okay. So it sounds to me like Americans are tired of politicians, which is why Spencer Pratt is so alluring. I'm not a politician. I never wanted to be a politician. I hate politicians. Politicians burn down my house. I want someone who has a plan, and that person is me. So the gender gap, women sitting at 23% support of the Democrats, men at 16%, it's a party bleeding support with the male half of the electorate. It's among the lowest the party has scored in years. It is a near total collapse of confidence with men as Democrats trail Republicans on the economy, on immigration, and on crime heading into the 2026 midterms. Harry Enton's takeaway was just blanket. Nobody likes what President Trump is doing. However, when Trump supports a candidate, the candidate 99% of the time, 95% of the time, that's his track record, wins. These two things, one of these things is not like the other, right? What's going on? 20% approval isn't a slump for Democrats. It's a verdict. And when fewer than 1 in 5 men will say a good word about the Democrats in Congress, the problem isn't the messaging, it's the product. Voters can see who the party elevates and what it prioritizes. Tom Steyer is coming out talking about trans kids, trans athletes. He's down with them 100% for them. Really? Voters can see who the party elevates and what it prioritizes, and they're answering with their approval ratings. The honest read of the 16% approval rating, men approving of Democrats in Congress. This is what the party is selling. And the men have walked out of the store. Oh, Larry. Senator John Ossoff is desperate for you to believe, nope, that's not the real story. The real story is that people don't like President Trump, and Republicans are telling him that they're going to vote Democrat. Really? Let's listen to Senator Ossoff tell Larry, what's his face, this over on MS Now.
I am hearing from Republicans who come up to me on the street, or they approach me at the airport, or maybe they have my number and they give me a call, and they're telling me that they are voting for a Democrat for the first time this year because they've just had enough. The abuses of power, the blatant self-enrichment and corruption. While the American people face all-time high prices for rent and groceries and a meal out at a restaurant and the power bill, the people have had enough. And I believe that a mighty wave is building to rebuke these abuses of power and to restore checks and balances.
You guys, it's a blue wave. Oh no, it's coming soon. Okay, but I'm going to save the best for after the break. So Xavier Becerra, the dude who was HHS secretary under Joe Biden while he was in his hyperbaric chamber, the guy who oversaw the loss of 500,000 illegal alien children who came to this country only to be trafficked by God knows who, God knows where. Oh, he knows why Californians will vote for him. Are you ready for this? Buckle up. It's next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. John Ossoff, I've had people come to me and tell me the first time this year. Well, how many people have voted so far this year? So it would be the first time to vote at all. But okay, but he's like, oh, even Republicans, the abuse, the personal enrichment. How has President Trump enriched himself? Doesn't he have to divest himself from all of his stuff? He had to give all of his stuff to his son, to Eric. Eric is the manager of the Trump empire, right? I wonder, how has Trump personally enriched himself? And he's had to spend how many millions of dollars defending himself from their lawfare. So I'm not so sure how he's doing this, but that would have been a fine question for Larry O'Donnell had he been worth his salt to ask him. Senator, tell me exactly. I'm unfamiliar with the ways in which the president has enriched himself. How exactly has that happened? Oh, Larry. Anywho, let's see. Who do we want to talk about? Oh, Healthy Cell. Let's go. All right. So, did you guys know that after the age of 55, this sucks. Brock, you're going to get there fast enough. Trust me.
You didn't know.
I do know. After 55, your body just cannot absorb nutrients and pills like it used to, right? Apparently, your stomach acid, weaker stomach acid, slower blood flow, and a thinner gut lining mean that most of the pill multivitamin that you're taking passes right through your system and you poop it out. So when your body can't absorb these nutrients, you start to feel it. It's true. Don't blame age, blame absorption. Low B12, vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium can quietly drain your energy and focus. And it's easy to make excuses. You're like, well, I am getting older. Like, I can't feel great forever. Why not? Yeah, you can. Healthy Cell Microgel replaces hard to digest pills with nutrient-packed gels that your body actually absorbs. Clinically proven to deliver 165% more nutrients than standard vitamins. And the bioactive multi-microgel. This is a complete daily vitamin, multivitamin, gives you the nutrients your body needs in a form it can absorb. And it's tasty, so you'll remember to take it every day. Stop flushing the nutrients that you pay a lot of money for, literally down the toilet, and try this Healthy Cell micro or bioactive multivitamin. I wonder if I have one. Let me see. Might, unless Brock took them, which probably he did.
This is what you're looking for?
Oh, the one that you took? Yes. Let me see. Yes, show them. Show them. So you're replacing like 12 different pills with this one particular daily multi iron and omega-3. Everything you need to know, right, just like this. Done. It's delicious. It's like this. It's fast, and you feel it. And the formulations are fantastic. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. I would bet you they still are having their Memorial Day sale. Help if I spell it. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. Memorial Day sale, site-wide, 20% off. Yep. Check it out. That Donald Trump, with all of the stuff he's doing as president of the United States, as the peacemaker of planet Earth, who's working to declassify and get out all of the UFO stuff to you, who's trying to get all of the jazz cleaned out of medicines to get you the best medical care and pharmacy products at the best price. That guy, nobody likes him anymore. Is that so? Everybody is just hot and heavy for the Democrats, including Xavier Becerra, who's running for governor of California. I've heard Steve Hilton call him Javier. I call him Xavier. I don't know what it is, and I don't care, because he is another zero-lifer politician who always makes things worse. CNN's Alex Michelson sits down with Becerra, and he's like, why on earth would Californians think this guy would make the state better? I want you to hear what Becerra says. This is what you get when you vote Democrat. This is why 16% of men approve of the Democrats in Congress. Let's go.
California right now has the highest poverty rate in the country, highest gas prices in the country, the most homeless people in the country, and among the most affordability issues when it comes to homes in the country. Do you think that the Democrats in this state, who have been in charge of it and the supermajority, are doing a good job?
We could do better, no doubt. But we are the fourth largest economy in the world. We are the place where the new economy engines, the industries are coming, tech and so forth. We still are the place where people want to come visit, whether it's Disneyland or the beaches. And what we have to do is just make it more affordable. But people want to come to California. People would like to stay in California. We have to make it so they can afford it. And that's a big task, but we'll work on it.
She's making the argument that essentially things stay status quo with you, that you're the Sacramento guy. What changes from a policy perspective? What's different with you than what we've seen over the last 4 years with Governor Newsom?
We'll get things done. I think
you're suggesting he hasn't?
No, he's done quite a few things, but we'll get more things done, and we'll get them done a lot faster because the crisis is upon us. And it takes someone who's actually had to deal with crises to know how to get us out of them. And
sort of like, I don't know, missing 500,000 migrant children.
Yeah, dealing with crisis or creating a crisis.
I'm going to create a crisis and then I'm going to profit off of it, because when you've got a crisis and you can't let it go to waste, it's a great opportunity for your grift. That is the answer of Becerra, a non-answer schmuck politician. Meantime, over at the Propaganda News Network, I'm sorry, NBC News, you know, about the ticks, about those Lone Star ticks that apparently are really ferocious, that are infecting people with this syndrome that makes them allergic to red meat and has killed people. NBC News wants you to know, well, you know what, we talked to the experts, and the experts are telling us, just keep your unease calm down. Don't get them in a bunch. Everything's fine. Listen.
Tick conspiracy theories. So we posted about the season starting early and a surge in people going to the ER for tick bites. That post got a lot of comments, like this one, claiming farmers are finding boxes of ticks on their property. And this one that mentions Pfizer's upcoming Lyme disease vaccine. It mainly started from an influencer who said she heard about it directly from farmers. Now, she didn't specifically make a connection to the vaccine, but a lot of people started to theorize it was related to Pfizer releasing the results from a trial for its vaccine. So I took those claims to the experts. There's been no evidence of these tick boxes being found. Now, they couldn't say for sure, but they were highly skeptical it's happening.
They don't need any help. They're doing perfectly fine infecting us just like this. I'm certainly not aware of any boxes of ticks. That seems very unlikely, and it doesn't really make sense to me that would be the case.
Also, there are already really high infection rates for Lyme disease.
Lyme is incredibly common already, and it's now the most common vector-borne disease in the continental United States.
So NBC News is now making videos debunking the tick conspiracy theory, which tells you what, right? You've been here before, right? You know how to get up to 30,000 feet. You've looked down through the clouds to see what's happening before. Every time they try to tell you something isn't happening, it's exactly what's happening, right? They're consulting with the experts. Well, which experts? Because I don't know about you guys. I trust my common sense a hell of a lot more than any of the experts, because these experts also told us, you know what? 6 feet of social distancing, it really matters. And you should wear that mask, wear 2 masks, dip it in water, have a wet mask. It's super awesome. It's going to protect you. The virus stops with you when you get the vaccine, right? It's do your greater good. These are all of the experts who told you just shut your pie hole, roll up your sleeve, and feel that beautiful needle plunge into your muscle. It's all good for you. It's perfect. Really? They're consulting with the experts. And now they say Lyme disease, it's incredibly common. Everybody's got it. It's just so, how many people do you know have Lyme disease? It's really that common? Tell me they're not making something up. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, the UFO files, today's installment. It's juicy. Don't go anywhere. Next. We consulted this rando epidemiologist who I'm sure has no connection to
And they don't even
Pfizer.
put his credentials up.
Who are you? You're an endocrinologist or whatever the hell you are? Okay, well, who are you? NBC. And she's got to hold her little thing like this. We don't have better equipment than that at NBC.
And cutbacks.
Right? It's called a lavalier. That actually connects right there. Unless you want people to be like, look, I just had to hurry up here in the newsroom and I didn't have time to put my equipment on. So I'm going to hold on to this microphone. And I'm going to tell you this tick thing, it's not really going on. What they're telling you isn't really what's going on. It's not about it's not boxes of ticks. That's ridiculous. It's just a lot of Lyme disease. And then thank God Pfizer's making a vaccine for that. You only need 9 of them, but it's going to be great. Make sure you get yours. Sheila, right? Right? Suck it. Other than that, I've got nothing.
You're not upset at all. Look at you, totally together and just
that sort of stuff is ridiculous. That they would hurt you and run cover for Bill flipping Gates, that psychopath.
Well, he pays for their salary. Biggest donor to media.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thank you to Robin White. Thank you to the Andy Pearson. Thank you for Capioso. Thank you for Annie G. Maga. These are all people who have reposted our show on X. Thank you. Thank you for helping me with that. That's super, super helpful. Very, very helpful. Okay, you know what's super, super helpful? You're already drinking water. You need to have water. What if you added a scoop of something that absolutely helped you lose significant weight? How about if adding a scoop of this stuff to water helped you lose 50 pounds? How about 70 pounds? How about more than that? How's that even possible? Well, you got to ask Dr. Stephen Gundry about that because that's what he's made. Drink Mix. It's a dietary supplement that does amazing work to crush your appetite, to stop you from drifting off and grabbing that Snicker bar or 5. That's what this is, MCT Wellness, and you can get it by going to The Healthy Fat, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. This is very simple. It's a scoop of this in your water bottle, shake it up, enjoy it, and then for the next 5 hours, be like, I'm not hungry. And you know what happens when you're not hungry? Brock, what happens when you're not hungry?
Your grocery bill goes down, so it's affordability, and
you don't eat.
You lose weight.
You know, it's the basic. I know it's rocket science. It's a sit up in a salad, right? Change the way you eat, change how frequently you eat, right? And then watch the weight come off. It's amazing. And that's what Dr. Gundry helps. And he needed it. He had put on 70 pounds, which is a powerful amount of weight. And he's like, this is so unhealthy. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon. Nobody wants a cardiothoracic surgeon who's wearing XXL scrubs, right? So he's like, and so he lost 70 pounds drinking that. It's just one more nutritious, delicious tool in your kit to lose weight and feel great. You can get it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I recommend the blueberry.
Froggy's going to have to W9 you.
What's he doing? Wow. $20.
And then $2, then $1.
Oh, he means Healthy Cell needs something for Alpha Gal from Ticks, right? That was very sweet. I mean, what has he given us? Like $400, $300 today? $200? Gosh, I love you. That's very nice. He's a lot more generous than Jolene. She just seems like she was grumpy.
Wow. She believed the story that I wanted you to say that. She actually believed your fake news. Because that was not fake news.
I'm pretty sure Jolene knows what's going on. So that was not fake news.
I told her not to worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then while we were speaking on the way in, you were like, oh, that'd be great. You should totally do that. What?
Oh, really?
Oh.
What did I say do it on the show?
Oh.
Or did I say text her to joke with her?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't recall.
I need you to look straight into the camera and lie to me. Go ahead, say that again.
I do not recall the I do not recall. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Wow.
1.78.
Wow.
Can we get to 2,000 rumbles? We got 3,400 people watching, and I'm so delighted you carved out some time for us today. Thank you. Thank you for that. So 220 people by rudimentary math skills are working in my favor. Let's go. I love having you guys. We have 190 comments. Holy mackerel.
Tom says he's cheap. That's why he's not giving. Yeah. Not cheap when he's eating all the pizza and drinking all my beer.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it goes. Yep. I know your brother.
I have to go back to the beer distributor.
You know, there is a term out there, and I will be perfectly honest with you. I'd never heard this word until today. And I like to fancy myself a moderate wordsmith. Yeah, I failed. Ontological shock. Have you heard this? Do you know what ontological shock is? Because it is the moment that you realize that everything that you had previously thought is not even close to what you thought it was. And it's, in fact, the inverse. And so your entire reality gets thrown to crap. And you're kind of left like speechless, dumbfounded, like stunned. Now, there are times in your life that this happens. The biggest one, I've told you, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but COVID was it for me. I paid attention to politics, but I was busy. I was raising my family. I was working my jobs. I couldn't really pay all that much attention to what people were doing in politics or in government. And then COVID hit. And we became a captive audience, kind of prisoners, if you will, in our own home. And wherever you were on that spectrum of awakening, you might have suffered this ontological shock. It means a sudden, unsettling disruption in your understanding of reality, identity, or what you thought was true. I never thought that the country that I love would have leaders from both parties who would be willing to inflict such pain and suffering, not just on we the people, but on the world. Maybe it's naivete, probably. It's hard to imagine something dark when that's not the world in which you live. I would never purposefully hurt somebody, no matter how much I dislike them. I couldn't. It's just not part of who I am. There is no profit motive that you could dangle that would have me lie to someone and hurt them. Just wouldn't happen. But we saw it happen during COVID. And in the ensuing years, the unraveling, the cover-up, the fake news, the propaganda, the people lying under oath, the refusal for the truth to finally come out. Though you and I all know, that probably was my ontological shock. To never believe in a million years that monsters exist. And they exist right before our eyes, and they lie to us every day. I'm aware of that now. You don't just go back to the way things were. Everything that you think and believe becomes a question mark. And it's a hard pill to swallow because it forces you to evaluate how conned you allowed yourself to be. And there's personal responsibility there. And a lot of people don't want to accept responsibility, right? That's the shock of it. So this whole idea that at least since the 1950s, we've known damn well as a country, our leaders, whomever they are, have known about alien life. They've known about UFOs, whatever you want to call it, that they've crashed here, that they have retrieved bodies of other beings from other places, that they've known and have kept this from us for whatever purpose. You could say it's for the benefit of humanity. We didn't want to create a panic. I think it's much more nefarious, right? I think there are alternative energies and technologies and things that are being worked on, and it's usually never in a benevolent fashion, right? That they don't want us to know about. Trump wants you to know about them because you demanded radical transparency. You demanded that, and he's trying to get that out, right? Ross Coulthard is an Australian investigative journalist. And I believe that this administration has cherry-picked certain people, certain voices with certain content and audiences to, one, help him figure out how best to disseminate this information to people without causing this ontological shock where you're like, what? Wait a minute. Everything I thought is completely the opposite. But he also speaks about this veil of secrecy that perhaps not even this president can pierce. And I want you to hear him. He's speaking with, I believe, News Nation. Talks about the Trump administration seeking advice from people like him on the best way to disclose the truth about our government's knowledge of UFOs and aliens to avoid this shock. Listen.
There's a lot of speculation, I'm hearing it from people inside the administration, that the Trump administration is indeed soliciting advice about how to tell the public that we're not alone. There are consultations taking place with spiritual leaders. I'm now able to confirm that. There was some speculation a couple of weeks ago about a group of pastors, but it turned out that wasn't directly related to the White House. But there are religious leaders that have been consulted by the White House. I'm aware of people in the administration who've reached out. I've actually spoken to people myself who've asked what I think would be the, quote, ontological shock for the public. And I've told them that, frankly, I think the biggest shock for the public would be the sense of a betrayal of trust if the government doesn't follow through and tell the whole story.
Well, it's beyond that, Ross. It's not just we won't trust the government if they don't do what is demanded. We lose trust of the government we had that knew, a lot of people knew, and lied to us. No, there's no sign. That's crazy talk. That's a conspiracy theory. That's an extreme MAGA Republican, right? Don't believe the tick story. That sounds like, no, that's not going on. Pfizer's not making a vaccine. Right? Then Tim Burchett talking about President Trump wanting to pierce that veil of secrecy and get the whole story out to the public. You've got to hear what he says at the end because it gave me goosebumps.
They say, oh, well, we're releasing it all. Well, the reality is they're not releasing it all. There's things that I've seen and people that I've talked to that don't have the clearance or the ability to come out and talk. And we've got to break through that. We've got to break through that. And I congratulate the president on his honesty to me. But as some of his top people have told me, that they're getting a lot of resistance. And he said, what do you think it is? I said, Mr. President, I really honestly don't know the answer to that. I said, but I think we need to know. And I think you're the president to do it. And he is. I mean, if they don't kill him first, he's going to turn the tables on this thing.
If they don't kill him first, he's going to turn the tables on this thing. So in my mind, I see this giant steel door, like a vault, And everybody's there trying to like listen in to the combination. Oh, right. Even the president wants to open that door. And even he can't open the door. Investigative reporter Jeremy Corbell is on with is it Rob Finnerty? Finnerty? Yeah. Says Trump's got to release everything, all of it, no matter what. Listen.
We finally have a president who says he is going to release any and everything. Yet why hasn't this president just stepped to a podium and addressed all of this before it's too late, before he's out of office or before something else happens?
It is time for President Trump to tell the world the truth about UAP and UFOs. And if anybody's can and will do it, it would be him. Because I think we are in a time now that it is beyond the point of no return. So I don't know why. I know the comms people from the White House have called me. So they're planning to try to put the language together to explain this, at least what they know. I know President Trump was briefed on UAP, but how deeply? And I also know we're receiving some videos, but are they the good ones? I can tell you they're not yet.
I've seen stuff, he says, that you're not seeing and you need to see it. You know, and to go back to COVID, we aren't even having honest conversations about what that vaccine has done to people. We can't even get that taken off of the freaking CDC website. And we know because we're not stupid, because we watched people die suddenly, because we know people who all of a sudden have some weird turbo cancer. Whatever could it be? And they won't tell you the truth about that. Whatever makes us believe we'll get the truth about this. And then here's a Joe Rogan, Tim Burchett clip talking about Obama. Obama, President Trump said, broke the classified secrets thing and said that, yes, aliens exist. And Trump's like, well, you opened the door. We might as well kick it open all the way.
Trump, when he was getting interviewed, he said Obama shouldn't have said that because it's classified. He goes, but I might release it. I might make it unclassified.
And I hope he does, and I told him that. But it makes a lot of sense that these deep water areas are where we see a lot of sightings. We've seen craft underwater that do something over 200 miles an hour that on the sonar pickup are as big as a dadgum football field. And these things don't have a heat signature, and I hope that they release some of the footage that we've seen and some that we haven't, that we've been rumored that's out there. What I'm afraid, though, it's going to get so sanitized. I mean, even Obama, he said, yeah, there are aliens out there. And then in a recent interview I saw just last week or so, he's backed up on that.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't know, maybe not. Can I put that genie back in the bottle? No. America's ready. And people will get ready in a hurry if they're not already. The ontological shock. I get it. But it's survivable. Right? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it is not Friday, not a good news Friday, but Memorial Day is certainly better when my boyfriend Steve Hartman's in it. 3 p.m. local time today. Something very special is happening that's about 12 minutes away. I'll tell you what it is next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Like, what is it? And here's the thing that I want to know. So if we know this information, does this alien world find out that we know the truth? And so then they show themselves? Like, how does that work? Like, how does that work? How do you go from, yeah, we've been lying to you for all these years. Yeah, we've been doing some experience. Yeah, we're nasty. We've been breeding humans and aliens because we're freaking psycho.
Well, we're safe.
Because we have souls.
No.
Oh.
No. New York City will be safe. Illinois will be safe. These aliens aren't going to want to go to Democrat places. They're shitholes.
Oh, you're saying
Pittsburgh. They're not coming to Pittsburgh. Maybe see a ball game, but they're not coming to Pittsburgh to hang out.
I don't know. What
this ontological
shock. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before.
COVID, I never questioned 9/11. I really didn't. It was, it was just like I could never
You were
fathom
reeling
that.
in pro-America grief.
Yeah.
You went out and bought a flag. That's what
Right.
you did.
That's
what I did.
But COVID turned everything on its head.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew they were lying about COVID. So what did I immediately do? What probably the majority of you've done. What else are they lying about?
Mm-hmm.
Now I start to see these conspiracy theories about 9/11, and I start going, yeah, why isn't there any plane wreckage at the Pentagon?
Isn't that weird? Why did you never see any pictures of like fuselage or
wait a second.
Like
Of
did
all
it
the things they find
incinerate?
in New York City happens to be the passport of the terrorists.
Right. Yeah. And it's not burned.
Yeah, it's
There's
not
like
destroyed.
it's sort of like when I was doing that thing when I was in the medieval festival and I needed to create some document that looked weathered and I took a lighter to the page. They like singed it. They're like
yeah.
Put some dirt on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
What happened to Building
Look at that.
7?
Mahmoud Abbas or whatever the hell that guy's name was.
Yeah. What happened to Building 7? What about the guy who took an insurance policy out on the World Trade Centers?
Why did State Farm leave insuring California, Southern California? Literally in
Why
the
did
week
Blue
before.
Roofs in Lahaina survive?
Why did all of the people get forced onto the same road and they had to be detoured onto it? Where
all of this started, and I know some of you will be like, oh, it was long before. All of this started for me for COVID, with COVID, to where it just changed everything.
Brock and I started working. I mean, if we were to log the number of hours that we just were curious and poked around, we'd be on the phone and I'm like, I'm sending you a link. And he'd be like, what? And I'm like, look at this. And then he'd look at it and be like, oh, and he's like, did you see what's at the bottom of page 7? And I'm like, no. And he's like, look. And I'm like, oh, and then we go to another thing. And
Listen,
it was like,
we spent
hundreds of hours.
We spend at least 2 to 3 hours a day on the phone. I've never talked on the phone that much, ever.
And I'd love it to be because I'm fabulous, but wow.
What?
That you just totally
I have to
slapped
push a
me.
button.
No, you slapped me in the face.
I have to push a
It's
button.
all right. You're not.
Well, you've given out fake news about me today, so, we're even.
Do you drink milk?
No.
On this Memorial Day Monday. Look, I don't want to get off of this whole UFO thing. Before I ask you this question, like, what would actually shock you? What would shock you? I think maybe the only thing, well, that's not true. One thing I could say that would certainly be surprising to me is if I was talking to somebody and, they like an alien came out of their head and they're like, I got something to tell you, Wendy. I'm actually from the whatever galaxy. I'd be like, what? That happened a couple times and you'd be like, yeah, he's from the whatever galaxy. You'd be like, okay, whatever. Like literally, what would it take to shock you anymore? I don't know. Would it shock you that there are nefarious people out there who wish that you would get sick so they could come in and be the firefighter arsonist and save you with the vaccine that makes them rich? Would it shock you to believe that all of the lawfare and all of the warfare that's been going on in this country is because there's just a dark, dirty, evil nexus of yuck that has controlled our country for years and years and doesn't want to give it up? And Trump is the one who upset the cart. But no. What would surprise you with the UFO files? I'm not so sure right now as they're slow walking it. They're making you go through the options in your mind. I don't know. Will we ever get the answers? I don't know.
That would shock me if we got all the answers.
There's one chance, and the chance is now. That's it. And so that's why that Quinnipiac poll, Donald Trump's approval rating has dropped 55 points. Okay, whatever. Somebody is super, super scared. A lot of them are. And a hell of a lot of them are Republicans. All right, so Brock found this. It is extraordinarily important. In fact, in just about 5 minutes, musicians across the country are going to be participating once again in a beautiful tradition honoring America's fallen heroes with the playing of taps. Here's my boyfriend, Steve Hartman, telling us about taps across. Just a beautiful way to think about today and to end this program. He said in his on-camera stand-up there, Steve Hartman did, that they wanted to take the day away from hot dogs and hamburgers. But you know what? That's exactly where it should be. Wherever you celebrate this day, and it is a celebration of those lives, those men and women who died for us, died so that you can decide how you want to live. Thanks for being a part of this Memorial Day Monday show on the Wendy Bell radio program. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Love you all. Peace.